So now.
Oh, the creme de la
creme.
creme. Oh.
We're moving on.
Hi, and welcome to the SaVeg podcast.
I'm Rose, also known as Cheap Lazy Vegan on YouTube.
And I'm Daniel, one of your favorite guest stars on Cheap Lazy Vegan's YouTube channel.
We're two friends who love to talk about the latest trending topics.
So get comfortable and join us while we give our SaVeg take on just about everything.
You are currently listening to the previous episode of this podcast, but if you would like to listen to this week's episode and get some exclusive content, go over to patreon.com/thesavagepodcast.
Hello, everyone.
Hey guys.
Welcome back to the SaVeg podcast.
Welcome back. We were out for a week.
Oh, we were out for a week.
Yeah.
We apologize. You know, life got in the way.
Oh, life was it was a little bit too hectic.
It's a bit hectic.
It was a bit hectic.
Daniel's been going through some things. I've just been going to Mexico.
Rose has been getting out of the country and living her best life.
Living my best life. But still hectic.
Yeah.
You know, Ari.
Rose is never prepared for traveling.
Never prepare for anything, really.
No.
Anyway, guys, we are back, and we are back with a coughing fit.
Sorry.
Are you okay? So we are back, you guys, and this week's episode is another one of our very fun episodes.
It's tradition, guys.
It's tradition.
So
yep.
if you're new to the podcast and you haven't been following us for the last 5 years or 4 years or however long it's been.
It has not been 5 years, right?
It's
been 4 years.
4 years.
That was shocking enough.
2019 we started.
Yeah.
So 2019, 2020,
Insane.
2021, 22, 23, 24. This is at the end of this year will be 5 years.
Okay, well, it's still the beginning of 2024, and we start at the end of 2019, so let's get our facts straight.
True. Okay, well, anyway, guys. So one of the fun episodes that we did, and this kind of kicked off during COVID, because obviously there was a couple shows during COVID that like everybody was obsessed with. And one of them at the time, the fan favorite, if you will, Love is Blind.
Yeah, so we are going to be doing a recap of Love is Blind Season 6, and of course, as tradition, we got to drink alcohol.
Cheers!
Cheers! Okay, not bad. Bit mild. Not bad.
Palatable.
So we're drinking wine, and we're going to talk about Love is Blind Season 6.
Yes.
And I have to say, this season, I was hooked.
It was unhinged. You know the last couple of seasons, guys? And
It was kind of boring.
Yeah, and I feel like as sad as it is, when the couples are really successful and are so in love, everyone's bored. Everyone's like, okay, cool.
Okay, no.
Like fast forward the marriage to the marriage.
Well, yeah, that's true. But like the last couple seasons, it's not like everyone was in love. You know, there were some unhinged people. For some reason, this season, I don't know. Something was
in the air.
Something was in the air, because I swear it was extra dramatic.
Oh, it was just every couple had so much drama.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. And also, guys, we're just going to put a little caveat here and just say, like, spoiler alert, if you haven't watched the season yet, obviously we're going to be talking in depth about the couples, who made it to the altar, all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
So if you haven't seen it, pause the podcast here, go watch season 6,
Yeah.
and then rewatch this.
I basically binged it on the flight.
Yeah.
And I watched the majority of the episodes on the flight. So.
Well, we mentioned this before. We have like a little group chat, and one of our good friends from London, we all watch it together, and then we have like we'll comment. And sometimes this year we didn't, because Rose was a bit further behind than us. But sometimes we'll comment on like let's say there's 5 couples. We're like, okay, who's actually gonna say yes at the altar?
Yeah.
And Rose is pretty good, actually. She generally gets it.
Generally, I get it like pretty correct.
Yeah.
But this season, I did not get a chance to guess.
Yeah.
Because I basically just binged it all at once.
Yes.
Anyway.
Oh, but before we get into it.
Yes.
Goddamn.
Before we get into it, just a reminder, guys, to join our Patreon, patreon.com/thesavagepodcast. Go and click on that link below in the description or in the show notes and join our Patreon family. It is basically a little group where we give you guys bonus content every single month, only for the Patreon members, and you get ad-free content.
Yep.
And every episode a week earlier than everybody else. And you get a little shout out at the beginning of the show. And we have 2 new patrons. We want to give a huge thanks to Alexandra.
And to Meta.
Thank you guys so much for joining our Patreon family. And now let's
Get onto your this program.
Oh God, this might be a long episode because
God
there is a
damn.
lot to cover.
Rose, I have to get an early night. Can't be too long.
Daniel, Daniel, we're gonna drink our wine and we're gonna have a great time. Cheers.
God damn. So in true fashion, I think we should go the way we've done this in the past, guys, and I think it's worked really well, is we've kind of gone couple by couple.
So there's so much to talk about because well, first of all, let's get the two most boring people out of the way as much as we love them.
Right. Okay.
Johnny and what's her name? Johnny and Amy, right? Yes. Amy's the Puerto Rican chick, is she? First of all, Johnny and Amy, the success. Okay, these guys said yes.
Yes.
They made it. Everyone knew. This is the couple. There's always, guys, every season, there's always a couple where like everybody basically knows.
And you're like, they're going to get married.
They're going to get married.
Yeah.
And nobody cares about them. Like
the main scandal with them had to do with, there was a lot of back and forth in social media about this, but it was about around using protection.
Oh yeah. We have to talk about that.
Yes.
It was very confusing.
It
because
was.
Apparently, okay, I was like, okay, so basically the whole thing was they were not getting intimate.
Yes.
Okay. Because they were very careful about getting pregnant.
The main thing was, though, is Amy wasn't on birth control.
Yes. So Amy wasn't on birth control.
Johnny had a field day with it. There was an episode where he's just like, you have to get on birth control.
No. I don't think he was like super pushy about it, though.
Well, he wasn't super pushy, but he was basically like insinuating that she needed to get on birth control. And
is that part of the rhetoric here? Is that part of like what people are saying?
Yeah.
So people think that he was being pushy.
Yes. And he was kind of like, every other girl I've dated, they've always been on birth control.
Right.
And kind of like pressuring her a little bit.
Yeah, he basically was like, ultimately, it's your choice.
Ultimately, it's your choice, but every other girlfriend I've been on has been on birth control.
And really, we can't have sex until you're on birth control.
Exactly. So it was kind of like he might not have been super aggressive and be like, you get on birth control now.
Yeah.
Like Clay, which we'll talk about later.
But this is what's really here's the thing. And then everyone was like, and myself included, we're all like, have you not heard of condoms?
Exactly.
Condoms exist, my friend.
I was like, okay, I get it. And then like one of our friends that we have the group chat with was like, well, maybe he's just wanting to double up, like birth control, condoms. So you're like almost like 100% effective. And the whole time I was just like, Amy, to her credit though, and a lot of women don't want to take birth control.
I don't want to take birth control.
It like fucks up your hormones.
It really fucks up your hormones, guys. Like I'm not against birth control. Let's just first of all be clear on this one. Birth control is great. I think it's a great thing to have, but it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
And not everybody wants to go on it. Okay, because you're right. It really messes your hormones, which Amy was saying, and I completely do agree with that. And I know I understand the hesitation.
Yeah.
And what's really, this is a whole different topic, but what's so annoying is like, obviously there are some forms of male birth control, which they did touch on, which is vasectomies, for example. Yeah. Although I do know that vasectomies are quite, it's not, it's not ideal, right? Because vasectomies, yes, technically they're reversible, but I think it's not 100% reversible. Like all the time, I don't think.
Yeah, but I think it's rare cases. I do think
think
it's,
so?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think like overall, I haven't done my research on vasectomies. But I have heard that it is reversible, like for the most part.
Okay, interesting.
More so than like, I think if a woman gets their tubes tied, that's like, that's a lot more. I think you can maybe reverse it, but it's really hard.
I just find it, I guess, again, this is another topic, but I just find it really annoying that after all these years, male birth control is still very limited even if there is any, right? Because, and they kind of touched on this, Amy and Johnny, basically being like, well, male birth control, like a lot of it is just kind of not really I don't want to say effective, but not proven enough, I think.
Yeah. You think there'd be something like, you know how like for women, obviously with birth control, it's like regulating how often your like eggs get released and all that kind of stuff. You would think by now that there would be something that maybe men could take that like render their sperm ineffective. So like, in a sense that like they could still, ejaculate and do all that stuff, but then the sperm is just like limp noodles. You know what I mean? Like they just can't do anything.
Well, no, here's the thing. I feel like if there was enough research and time dedicated to this subject, I'm sure they could come up with something. But because birth control has always been seen as a woman's job, it's like women have to take care of it. We have to make sure.
I agree with that.
Daniel?
I'm just kidding, guys.
Daniel, are you ready for a war?
Rose's face. Oh God, guys. I'm obviously kidding.
Obviously, Daniel's kidding.
Yeah.
But I was ready to go to war there
I
for
know
the women.
you were.
So, because it's always a woman's responsibility, women have to deal with it. Women are the ones that can get pregnant. Guaranteed, if men could get pregnant, male birth control would have been out fucking hundreds, if not thousands of years ago.
I actually saw a meme or something recently that was talking about like consensual sex and all that kind of stuff. And it was saying about how if a man risked all the things that a woman risks when having sex, so like the potential of your body getting ruined, your child, the potential
getting pregnant,
getting like all sorts of things, right? Like
infections, which women are more prone to getting infections. By the way,
exactly, because things are going inside your body.
Yes.
All of these things. It's like, would men
have sex?
Well, not would they have sex, but it's like, wouldn't they also be wanting to consent? You know what I mean? Like, consent is such a huge and important thing with all these risks that are associated.
Yes.
And if men had the same risks, they would be more pushing to have consensual sex.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Agreed. So anyways, we were very confused as to why he didn't want to use condoms, which I mean, again, I understand condoms aren't 100%, but they're pretty damn effective.
They're good, but they just don't feel good.
Exactly. Maybe that was his issue because like they barely brought up condoms. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure maybe they talked about it. You know, obviously we're only taking what we see at face value. Okay.
Yeah.
So, but at the same, it's like they're, here's the thing. Condoms are like what, 90-something% effective. 90-something% effective. It's obviously not 100%.
Yeah.
But at the same time, birth control is also not 100%. Like,
exactly.
There's always going to be risks there. So I don't know, for them to be like, and again, I do think it was mostly him that was like extra worried.
Yeah. He's like, I don't want to have a kid. I'm not financially ready. I can't have kids right now.
And I'm just like, okay, like use a fucking, you can use, here's the thing. Again, this is not a sex ed podcast.
No.
So do your own research. But I would say if you use a condom and you pay attention to your cycle, as women can, because you ovulate once a month, okay? And there's times when you're not ovulating, so then you can just like maybe avoid the times when you're ovulating, and that way that's another way to kind of double up essentially
to help,
right? Yeah. Again, it's never going to be 100%. Right. Nothing's ever 100%.
Yeah.
Anyways, that whole thing was a bit frustrating.
Yeah. Did you feel like I liked it's Johnny and Amy.
Johnny and Amy, yeah.
I liked them, but I also feel like they were almost like too, like those couples that just seem like too cutesy. Do you know what I mean? Where you're like,
do you think they were putting up
I don't know.
putting up a front?
Maybe I'm just so cynical and such a sinister little bitch now that like I saw them and I was just like, you guys seem so fake. Like they're like, oh my God, Johnny, we're so in love. And I was just like there was no drama with them, really.
Yeah, but that's a good thing.
I know.
It's not good for reality TV.
This is true.
But it's a good thing.
I think I can agree with the masses, and I think everyone did this, which is kind of sad. But I'm pretty sure everyone fast forwarded to their wedding. Their wedding.
I will add myself to that statistic.
Yeah.
Because like, why am I watching that?
Yeah. We already know what's going to happen at the altar.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, they were really cute. They were a cute couple.
I don't know if they were fake. I do think like Johnny was like really into her, and I think at first Amy wasn't that sure, because remember how Amy was like, normally I go for the dark, like I don't
Latino
go for white men essentially.
Yeah.
And he's like the whitest man ever, and so
literally the most. He's like a fucking ginger.
Kind of like a ginger, right?
Yeah.
But I think he's kind of like I think his looks grow on you, kind of. Like I think and the thing is, I think what worked was that he was like really into her. Obviously, like she's very attractive, and and they got along, whatever. And maybe they're like living in La La Land. Let's also face the fact that they just met, and it's like they literally got engaged and married in a month. So things can easily change.
Yeah.
But because he's like head over heels, I think he like is obviously treating her really well and stuff, because he's like obsessed with her. So then she like kind of like, she was like, oh, actually I really like Johnny. Because at first there was definitely a little bit of hesitation on her.
Right. Yeah.
But I think she just kind of like was like, oh, this is good.
God, what a wild concept, hey? Like you literally get married to someone in a month.
Oh God, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. It's like that's your lifelong partner now.
Oh, but have you heard there's some pregnancies from previous Love is Blind?
Oh yes, I think I have heard about it.
Yeah. There's that I forget their names, but either the last season or the season before. There was that guy that was like slightly strange.
Oh. The lawyer. He was like a lawyer or something. And he was with
Blair, I want to say.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because remember, he had proposed to somebody different. And then he like, didn't he split up
Oh
with her and then go
God,
with
I don't remember the details,
and
but
he
I
was
think
like,
you
I
know
made a
who I'm
mistake.
talking about.
Yeah. What was his name? And he was like a little bit on the spectrum.
Zach, maybe?
Zach.
Yes, there you go.
And
They're pregnant.
Bliss?
Bliss.
Was Bliss,
Wow,
right?
you have good memory.
Was Bliss, yeah.
So anyways, so that's Johnny and Amy.
Yes.
That was the drama with them.
Yeah,
That's
so-
it. They got married.
Yeah.
Happily ever after. Who the hell knows?
We'll
The
find out on the reunion
Oh yeah,
tonight-
the
tomorrow
reunion
night.
is tomorrow night. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Okay. So that's that.
Yep.
Now, okay, which one should we go to next? I feel like we should save this one for last.
I think we should say that one for last too. I kind of want to go to no. I want to do Laura and Jeremy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the other couple which I was kind of like not that into the storyline
Yeah.
because okay, so Laura and Jeremy. So let's talk about the throuple first. Not
Oh,
the
yeah.
throuple, the love triangle.
So it's Laura, Jeremy, and the infamous Sarah Ann.
Sarah Ann.
Yeah, Sarah Ann, the boyfriend stealer, as some like to call her.
The trumper.
So basically, if you guys you're
We're
probably,
recapping,
we're
so we can
recapping.
repeat things.
Exactly. So they were in the pods together, and Jeremy was like talking to both of them.
Yes.
And had really strong connection with both of them. Blah 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 blah. Ended up picking Laura.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he said basically when he was talking to Sarah Ann, it seemed based on what he said that their conversations were a little bit more surface level and a bit more sexual. So it seemed that he was getting more deeper conversations with Laura.
Yeah.
Both, very similar looking white chicks, I might add.
Yes.
And he's also a very basic looking white dude.
Very basic looking white guy.
And I don't know how I feel about any of these people. Well, actually, I do know how I feel.
Well, I honestly, I personally, in the whole situation, part of me was like feeling bad for Jeremy.
Okay.
Because Laura, quite often,
Yes.
she really like put him down for a lot of stuff.
Oh my God, every single time.
Yeah, she was like very nitpicky about like things where I'm like, okay, Laura, like calm the fuck down. Like she'd be like,
You're going to need to let that go at some point.
exactly. She's like the Hawaiian shirts. I'm like, get the fuck over the Hawaiian shirts. You already know he's gonna wear his Hawaiian shirts. He loves his Hawaiian shirts.
And also, it's like, again, I can't stress this enough, how much they always negate the point of this experiment, which is Love is Blind. You
Yeah.
came on this show supposedly because you wanted to find someone without seeing what they look like.
Yep.
So, and what they wear is kind of part of what they look like.
Exactly. And like,
so
honestly,
let it go, bitch.
Exactly. And like, honestly, like Jeremy was a basic looking white guy, but he wasn't
Yes.
bad looking. Like
He wasn't bad at
he
all.
was in good shape. He took care of himself. you
Yeah.
know? So I'm like, who gives a fuck if he wears a fucking
I know.
Hawaiian
That's
shirt?
the least of his sins. Let's tell.
Exactly. So that part I could see why would be grilling on or grating on Jeremy, because she was like, it was like almost every moment she would like almost like drag him through the mud, but then be like, oh, but I really like him, and
Yeah, it
like
was so weird.
and I had a longer pros list than a cons list. It's like, great, thanks for that. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh my God, that's so bad because
yeah.
like, and also like from the moment they met, you know how they do the whole reveal. From the moment they met, you could just tell she was not into him at all.
Yeah.
Which is fine. Like again, you can kind of not be into him and then later on, grow to like him, whatever.
Exactly.
But she was very like, I think she was just immediately unattracted to him, and then she was picking out every little ick,
Yeah.
which is kind of what I might do.
Sounds familiar.
So I think Laura might be on the avoidant attachment spectrum.
She definitely latched onto a lot of icks, and I was like,
And it was like very minor icks.
yeah. And she even said, she was like, normally if somebody had this ick, I would have like already left the relationship.
Right.
If someone was wearing Hawaiian shirts, she would have already left. And I was like, what is going on?
But I stayed because I got to get paid.
Exactly. And also because I'm just trying to stay true to this experiment. And then when her parents came and visited, she was like literally dragging Jeremy through the mud.
Oh my
Even
God,
to the
it
point
was
where
so
her parents
bad.
were like,
Yeah, it's a little too much.
exactly. And everyone's like, even her friend was like, dude, you
Yeah.
got to let it go about the fucking Hawaiian shirts.
Yeah.
Like they had a little chat outside.
Yeah, and her friend was like trying to be, her friend was super nice. Like she
Yeah.
was like, oh, I love Hawaiian shirts.
Exactly. She's trying to be optimistic. She's like, you know what? Like he's got a lot of great qualities and blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. But
I know. Anyways,
Yeah,
so
so-
she was already, definitely, I did kind of feel bad for him.
yeah.
Because, and you could just tell the dynamic was just so off. They
Yeah.
had no chemistry. They had no,
Because he felt more like the guy, like, the guy you meet that's like a little bit annoying on the borderline.
yes, that's another fact.
Yeah, he's like borderline, like one of those guys that's like a comedy king or like a comedy.
Like a childish,
Yeah.
humorous,
childish humor, which sometimes lands. And
giving
you're like,
that
that's,
Shane guy from
Yes.
like that realtor Shane guy.
but not quite as bro-y.
not quite as throat-y.
But he kind of is like that. He reminds me of that person that like is telling jokes, and a lot of the time it's really funny.
Yes.
And you get along with it. You're like, yeah, you're so fucking funny. And then they just keep doing it.
Yes.
And after a while, you're like, oh my God, another fucking joke. Like, just stop.
He was giving man-child.
Yes.
So, and she was very not having it.
No, she was just fed up with it. She was just like, what the fuck?
Again, they're both just like not right for each other at all.
But that doesn't excuse Jeramy's behavior.
Yeah, so let's talk about that.
So that was golden.
Yes.
That whole fucking moment.
With Laura, I had like a love-hate relationship with this girl because I was like, in some moments, I was like, I fucking love her.
Yes.
Because she's like hilarious and, you know, she's kind of saying it how it is, whatever. And also when she had that drama with Jeramy.
The way she handled that moment, I
loved
aspire to
it.
be as good as the way she handled it. So
take notes, Daniel.
I need to take notes.
But then in some moments, like when she's like nitpicky about the Hawaiian shirts or severely criticizing him like so much, it was just kind of like, oh, like, you know,
gross.
It was like a lot.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that.
Oh, the moment. That moment, guys. Because you know when they say don't show all of your cards right away? And you always should keep something in your back pocket.
Ah, that's what Laura did.
That's exactly what she fucking did. And
Sure.
she did it so well. Like, I feel like it was almost scripted how good it was.
Yeah, because, okay, well, here's the thing. So basically what happened was one night, you don't see this part on camera, but you see the aftermath.
Yeah.
So essentially one morning, Jeramy's like fucking sitting there on a couch with his cap on, with sunglasses on, like a fucking, you know, I don't even know what happened.
Like a uni child that just went out for a bender and is like,
Exactly.
I can't see the sun.
And then Laura is like coming in clearly pissed off, and she's like, we need to talk about what happened last night. Why did you come home at like 5 in the morning?
5 in the morning, yeah.
And then he's just kind of sitting there like looking guilty as fuck, let's be honest.
Super guilty,
And then,
shaking. His foot was like shaking.
Basically, was it?
Yeah, his foot was like going like, I don't know.
Yeah. And then how did it happen? Basically, she was kind of like, where were you last night? And then he's like, well, I went out with like the cast or whatever.
Yeah, he's like, the cast all went out to this place called Lost and Found. So like there's some
you remember this? Okay.
I mean, I was
Tell the story, Dan.
involved.
Okay,
I had to
you
rewatch
tell.
it. It was so good.
Really?
That one section, I was like, I need to rewatch
I
this.
kind of like didn't care about this couple enough, so continue.
Well, I didn't really care about the couple, but just the way it was handled, I was just like,
you took notes.
I did take notes. So for future boyfriends, guys, don't do this to me. So basically, he said to her, he was like to Laura, he's like, hey, you know, a bunch of the cast went out last night and we went to this place called Lost and Found. And he's like, I'll be honest with you, because he's like, he always prides himself on being super honest. Because even when Sarah Ann messaged him on Instagram, he told her about it, which I thought was kind of good. You know, like being like, hey, like, you know.
Oh, yeah, we got to get to that first. So I guess, obviously, like we mentioned, he had a connection with Sarah Ann and Laura, but he picked Laura.
Yeah.
And after they, you know, him and Laura went on their little honeymoon or whatever, I guess what happened was Sarah Ann added Jeramy on Instagram and sent him this DM basically being like, oh, congrats on your thing. But also, if the door is still open,
I'm here for you.
I'm here if you want to chat. And then Jeramy saw that, hearted the message, which...
and didn't respond, though.
And then he didn't respond. And then he showed the message to Laura in, you know, to be transparent.
Yes.
Anyway, continue.
So he showed it to her to be transparent, and then she was like, well, you shouldn't have liked the message.
Sure.
Like,
yeah.
But anyway, so that's some backstory. That's some good backstory for this. So anyway, he's like, yep, me and the castmates were at Lost and Found. Sarah Ann was there. You know, like we were all, you know, chatting and stuff like that. And then and she's like, well, why were you home at 5 in the morning? Like, it just doesn't make sense, you know? And he goes, well, you know, obviously me and Sarah Ann, we stayed in the parking lot and we sat in my vehicle and we just chatted. I can't remember exactly what he said, but he was like, we were just chatting and we just had closure. We caught up about a lot of things and we just had that like closure. And it was a really, really good chat. And then I came back home. And she goes, you were chatting in a parking lot until 5 a.m.? He's like, yeah, you know, I even sent you my location. This is the pure gold, guys. Yeah. Oh, this was so good.
At first I was confused as to what this was. And then later I found out.
People explained it on Twitter and stuff. Yeah. So he goes, I sent you my location. So Laura, keeping this in her back pocket, goes, it was like, you know, probably 3 o'clock in the morning or something. Like, do you think I'm really up checking your location?
And also,
like,
I don't want to be in a relationship where I have to check your location.
Exactly. I don't want to be doing that.
Which
like,
I think is fair.
Exactly. She's like, that's ridiculous. And he's like, no, but, you know, in full transparency, I sent it to you, blah, 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 blah. And then she goes, so you were at Lost and Found parking lot? And he goes, yeah. Are you sure you were? That's where you were. He's like, well, wasn't exactly the parking lot. We were kind of around the corner and whatever. And she goes, no, you weren't. You weren't even there.
Yeah.
And he goes, what do you mean? She's like, you were, I don't know, some other part of the town where Sarah Ann lives.
Yeah.
And his face was just like, and I guess, so, and then Sarah,
and then she said something like,
I
don't
did-
show me your location if you don't want me to find out where you were.
Exactly.
And then I was confused because I was like, why did he share his location?
Right,
you
right,
know?
right.
And then the explanation.
So the explanation was, guys, yeah. So he's like looking all confused, and she's like, no, you're at Sarah Ann's place. Like, that's where you were. And then, yeah, don't share your location if you don't want me to check it. Like, just pulling it out of her back pocket. I was just like, oh, and she just handled it so well.
She did.
And then he, and then the reason why he was so confused is, I guess, what people are speculating he did is he shared his location for his phone, left his phone in his vehicle, but had his Apple Watch on, which he then went to Sarah Ann's, and the watch also tracks your location.
Yes.
So his location was continuing on where his watch was, and that's how she found out.
It's quite interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But then, okay, I'm confused because I also have an Apple Watch, and there's two ways to have an Apple Watch though. So maybe he had the other way. So you can either have your Apple Watch so that it actually acts as like a second phone, basically.
Yes. Yeah.
When you're like away from it. So it still works but then you need to pay like extra on your monthly fee to have like the watch work as a phone.
Right.
Or you could have it just connect to your phone via Wi-Fi or Bluetooth or whatever.
Yeah.
And so when you're away from your phone, I don't know if it tracks the location, but either way, I think that explanation probably makes sense.
Yeah.
Because it's like, because he obviously brought up the location because he's like, it's basically being like, here, guys, I'm innocent. This is my alibi.
This is my evidence.
Yeah. I did not go there.
Mm-hmm. and it's like, there's like a few things to unpick there. Number one, don't be in a situation where you need an alibi. Mm-hmm. First of all, come home at a reasonable time.
Yeah.
Number two, make sure that if you're doing that, don't be having an Apple Watch or something.
Yeah.
And like, thirdly, like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, also, I'm sorry. I don't care if you were in a parking lot. I don't care if you were wherever. Nothing good happens after like 2:00 in the morning. I'm sorry.
Nothing good happens after 2 a.m.
How many, and you guys, and I'll be honest with you, how many heart-to-heart conversations have I had at 3:00 in the morning with copious amounts of alcohol?
And do you think they did anything?
100% they did.
Oh, you think
Like,
so?
like,
because they kept claiming
They
that
both to this day, and I think again, you have to remember they're on a TV show.
Sure.
They're on a really public TV show.
Oh,
They're not going to
God.
want to admit that because it makes them look like shit.
Yeah.
But I guarantee you, what else were they doing until 5 a.m?
Mm-hmm.
And why was he at her place until 5 a.m?
That's true. Are you talking until 5 a.m?
Exactly. Why did you have to go to her place? Then the story changed.
After you had a few shots of alcohol.
Exactly. And then the story changed. Oh, I wasn't just in the parking lot with her. I actually gave her a ride home. Oh, okay. So now you gave her a ride home. That's why your location was there. Like, and then Sarah Ann's like, no, nothing happened. Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you guys are shady as fuck. Either way, that relationship with Laura and Jeremy was destined to fail from the beginning.
Yeah, it was going to fail.
But that extra part of drama just was like
Exactly.
the location sharing. I was like, this guy.
But the whole thing is just so wild because it's like, a part of me is like, listen, it's just, who's taking this seriously? You got engaged within like 2 days of talking, simply talking.
Yeah.
Which doesn't make any sense because you haven't actually spent any time.
Yeah, but Rose, we've never been in the pod. We don't know the intimate connections. We don't know that the spiritual Awaniska, whatever it's Awanaska experience that they have there. We don't know what they're smoking. We don't know what they're doing.
Be smoking something.
They're having a spiritual journey in there.
So
Rose.
then they match, and then they're supposed to like live together for 4 weeks. They're strangers and they're living together.
Yeah.
So a part of me is like, listen, I mean, I'm going to be controversial. Like, I don't think Jeremy's that sketchy for what he did. I think he's sketchy for lying and you know whatever.
For sure.
And technically, it's like, you know, you are violating the terms of this engagement.
Yeah.
But come on, you met this bitch 2 weeks ago. She keeps talking shit about your Hawaiian shirts.
Yeah.
I understand the temptation is what I'm saying. Because literally you met this guy 2 weeks ago. Are you really going to be like fully invested in one man for, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's weird. But at the same time, obviously he's part of this experiment. He decided to be part of this experiment.
Correct.
He went behind her back. So he did deserve the shade and all
Yeah.
the, you know.
Yeah, like you shouldn't, like, honestly, you know what? At the end of the day, if it's not working, it's not working, right? And it was
never
clearly
gonna work.
not working with those two.
So it's almost like a blessing in disguise that
Yeah.
that thing happened, and then
It kind of just forced them to split up. It
Because
forced
they
the
had
inevitable.
to split up. It was almost like unbearable to watch at that point.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't even like drama. It wasn't like as entertaining. It was just more like cringy
It was more like,
watching them.
just get away from each other.
Exactly. It's like,
Yeah.
you clearly don't like each other.
Yeah.
Laura, you clearly don't like him. And yet you're just like forcing this interaction.
Yeah, it was destined.
Oh.
It was destined to stop. It was destined for failure.
So that ended.
Yeah. And speaking of awkward relationships, I think the next couple that we should talk about was the interracial couple.
Oh, yeah. I almost forgot about them.
They weren't on the show long. Let's be honest here. We're talking about
Brittany.
and Kenneth.
Okay. So there's some
wild rumors going around about
first of all,
Kenneth.
there's also rumors about Jeramy. Let's rewind for a second.
Oh, yes, the Jeramy rumors.
That he was engaged
And like had a child or something.
and had a child right before or like during casting or something.
Yeah.
And so some people are speculating that,
He went on there to get money.
I mean, or fame or whatever the fuck. And
Yeah.
I'm sure that relationship ended. Who the hell knows?
Yeah.
But a lot of people are like, oh, you know how his house was like ridiculously clean?
It was a show home or something?
Yes! Or like it was
Yes.
like, put there for, whatever. Because it's like, it was almost like creepy, like American Psycho.
Like
sort
serial
of clean.
killer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that was very strange. Imagine if you walked into a house like that. I would be like, this is a deal breaker.
Yeah, I would too. I'd
Sorry,
be like,
that to me screams like
OCD to the next level.
OCD to the next
Because
level.
then you worry about it because like obviously like our places aren't like filthy.
Yeah, but it's like we're human.
We're living and like the thing is I want to go into a house where I can feel comfortable, like especially with my partner, like maybe just like taking my sweater off and just throwing it on here,
Yes.
like just for the time being, and then I'll clear it up in a minute. Or like I'm really tired and maybe I don't turn the dishwasher on or like whatever.
Yes,
You know what I mean?
I
Like,
would like a little flexibility.
exactly. Whereas if someone's like that, you just know, like when they're that OCD with cleaning, like even if, like imagine like you're with your partner right now, right?
Yeah.
And like right now we're not using coasters, for example.
Yeah.
Can you imagine them like just lifting up the glasses, wiping, putting a coaster under there? I'd just be like, no, I can't deal with
It's
this.
my worst nightmare.
Yeah.
And I just like, it's just.
Well, they'd have a field day in here, Rose. No. And
Oh,
at my house too, to be
Well,
fair.
that's my way of weeding them out,
Yeah, exactly.
And I feel like now that we talk about it, that's one of the things that they bonded over.
Yes.
Laura was like, oh my God, I'm like really clean and OCD. So I feel like that was like one of their bonding moments. And I'm like, okay, well, you weirdos can love each other.
Exactly. So
Okay, so that was the Jeramy drama.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about Kenneth and Brittany.
So this was a kind of interesting one. Interesting for the short period of time that it lasted.
Yeah, so at first I was like rooting for them.
I was too, because this couple did the biggest 180 I've seen on Love Is Blind so far. Okay, maybe not quite. There's been some other 180s, guys, but like in this season, this was the biggest 180.
Okay.
In a sense that you have Brittany and Kenneth, and during their pods, during their honeymoon phase, you're really rooting for them because they're an interracial couple and they're talking about really tough topics, and they're
both religious as fuck.
Yeah, they're both really religious. They're bonding over all this stuff. There seems to be a really good connection.
Yeah,
with them.
there seems to be chemistry. There seems to be connection.
Yeah, and you're just like, this is amazing.
When they get together, they seem attracted to each other.
Yeah.
And Kenneth seemed like a very like stand-up guy. He seems like a man, he seems very like a man of his word.
Yeah.
He seems trustworthy.
Yeah, and then on the other side, Brittany
was super sweet.
And also because I know like a couple of the other girls, like AD had a conversation with her around, I think it was AD or somebody, around like how does she feel about raising like mixed race kids.
No. AD had a conversation with Kenneth, which we'll get to.
Right.
Because I feel like that was the turning point. That's my speculation. So, okay. So
but Brittany did talk about it. I remember they had a conversation.
Brittany talked to Kenneth about it.
Right. Okay.
So this is what happened. So obviously they're an interracial couple. Kenneth is black and Brittany is white.
Yeah.
And so, they got together, and even before they met, I think they had that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they met, there was like a small bit of conversation. Again, we're only taking what's shown on TV, okay?
Yeah.
So we don't know how much they talked about it before. We don't know how much that was a factor. But then, so I think it was during that honeymoon phase when all the couples gather. Basically AD, who's another black woman, was talking to Kenneth and was basically like, she's going to be raising black children. and does she know what comes with that, right?
Yeah.
Because there's obviously issues, with the Black community that that anyone outside of it won't understand.
Exactly.
So it's a fair
Especially
enough
in
question,
America.
especially in America.
Yeah.
And so it's a fair enough question. And I think but I think he's already had a little bit of doubt about it because he kept talking about it.
Yeah, fair.
But then her saying that kind of validated his doubts and his insecurities about this topic. And he started just I don't know, the things were rolling in his head. And then after that, his behavior completely changed.
Well, I feel like it wasn't completely after that moment.
It started to shift.
So it was.
Remember, they're on the boat and they like barely said anything.
Yeah, I do remember that. That was an awkward boat journey.
Yeah.
Okay, so they were really good, and then they did this boat journey, guys. They're gonna go like do stuff, and they literally. I don't know if they did it for effect.
And they may have done it.
I think they did because they literally like just had footage like 5 minutes of them
the
not talking.
The awkward silence footage.
And I was just like, this is so awkward. But anyway, then they finally move into their like house that they're gonna share for the next like 3 weeks or whatever. And Kenneth.
Oh, I could not stand him.
Oh my God. I literally was like yelling at the TV.
I wanted to punch the fucking television.
Oh my God. He decides as soon as they get there, disconnects completely, doesn't really talk to Brittany at all. Immediately just spends the whole time on his phone. And at first he's like, oh, I'm a principal at a school. I have lots of emails I have to get back to and blah, 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 blah. Fine, but then it continues on.
And I understand that obviously you get your technology, because they've been without phone for weeks. I get it. You got to respond to your messages. But if you have a partner there right beside you in the same room, asking you questions, doing stuff, trying to, she's very excited.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, I want to set things up. And he's just like literally just glued to his phone, barely paying attention to what she's saying.
Yeah.
What I would do in that situation is be like, okay, like I want to do all of these things with you. I just need like an hour to just like check my emails, like just give me a little bit of time and then you'll have my full attention.
Yes.
I cannot fucking stand. This is like the same thing as going out for dinner with your friends and then people are just on their phone the entire fucking time.
So annoying.
Why are we even at this dinner?
Yeah.
You go home, check your phone, and then when you're not preoccupied, come here and talk to me.
It's crazy because I feel like also like we're not that bad at that. You know what I mean? In terms of like being so glued to our phone. And I was saying before, I still spend like 3.5 hours a day on my phone apparently.
Exactly. The thing is though, when you and I are together, we barely check our phones.
No, exactly.
And like, obviously, and like, I don't know, this is one of my biggest pet peeves. Like if my partner did that, that would be a fucking problem. Like that would be a problem because
it's such a turn off. It even frustrates me. Like if I'm, especially like, if I'm out for dinner and somebody's like on their phone the whole time, I'm like, why am I here?
Exactly.
Like go out for dinner by yourself. Exactly. If it was like once in a blue moon, like, oh, I just got to quickly check something. Oh, I got to respond to this. 2 seconds. Boom. Phone away.
Phone away. Put it face down. Fucking talk to the person you're with.
Be present in the moment, guys.
Oh, he was just, and even when they were like, okay, so that was the first big problem.
Yeah.
And then there was like a moment where basically Brittany, so because they're religious, they decided to not be, intimate.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, even if you don't want to go all the way, you could still be, holding hands or kissing or showing some level of
affection. Yeah.
But I guess they were just not doing that to each other. And I think Brittany wanted that.
Yeah.
And I think maybe because she is a Christian woman, she feels like, and this is fair, like she feels like the guy should maybe initiate a little bit more.
Yeah.
And because she also wants to feel like she's actually wanted rather than her doing the initiation.
For sure.
So she brings it.
Is that how you also feel as a Christian woman, Rose?
As a Christian woman. Moving on.
Yeah.
So anyways, so she brings this up at one of the episodes, which was one of the most bizarre conversations I've ever heard in my life. Basically, she's bringing up this very real doubt in her.
Yeah.
Saying like, I don't think you're really that, I'm
not feeling this.
I'm not feeling this. I'm not feeling that you're feeling this.
Yes,
essentially.
I'm not feeling that energy from you.
Yeah, but she wasn't really saying it like that. She was actually very like, I really liked Brittany the way that she handled.
I thought she was really for her age because I think she's young. She's like 25.
I know. She seemed quite mature how she handled this conversation. She basically said something like, I feel like even though we've decided to be, not intimate in that way, it'd be really nice if we, showed affection in different ways. Like she said it in a really nice way.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly how she said it. But then he basically fully gaslit her and was like, well, I don't feel that way. As in like, I feel desire.
Yeah.
She's saying that I don't feel like we're showing desire.
Yeah, yeah.
And he was like, I feel desire.
Yeah.
Basically saying you're crazy for thinking what you're thinking.
Yeah.
Because I feel desire, even though I've shown zero evidence of that.
Zero. As soon as they got to this house, it's like he was just on his phone the entire time.
So it's like, how should she know
Isn't that when he flipped it around and was like,
Yes.
I don't think I want to be with somebody that feels like I don't feel them.
That's what I mean by gaslighting. It was
Yeah.
like very gaslighting. It was very
Yeah.
like, I am clearly feeling the desire,
Yeah.
but you don't feel it. So then we should probably end this now.
Yeah.
And then that was the breakup.
And they all of a sudden, and then he just ended it right then and there. And I was like, holy fuck, that was fast.
I know. I was like, did that just break up? Did they just break up? Was that a breakup?
They got engaged in like a couple
That's
days.
true. So you might as well break up in 2 seconds.
Yeah. But
And
it was so fast. I was like, pause. Did I miss something? Like, did something happen here? It's like, yeah, I don't want to be with a partner that's questioning whether or not I feel them when I feel them. We should just end
Again,
it.
that's like gaslighting. It's basically blaming her for feeling her legitimate, valid feelings toward that situation.
And literally anybody would feel that. If you
Exactly.
fucking went to this experiment and you get to the house and the person's glued to their phone, I would have been a lot meaner than what's her name?
Brittany. Barely paying attention to you, barely talking to you, barely showing any affection to you, barely any physical touch, nothing.
Yeah, I would have been like, can we have this conversation off your phone? Like, can you put your phone away for a
even
little
when
bit?
they were like doing the breakup convo, he like had his phone in his hand.
I know. Oh my God.
I was gonna fucking lose my shit.
I was like, somebody grab that man's phone.
Oh God!
Somebody
Seriously,
take that man's
He is lucky
phone.
that was not me on the other end, because I would have taken that fucking phone.
And smashed it.
Maybe
Fuck
not
you!
said it, but I'm like, can you please put down your phone? I would have said it.
I would have said it too. Like,
That's so rude.
I'm shocked that Brittany didn't, because I wouldn't have been.
She was too nice.
She was. I wouldn't have necessarily been a dick about it, but I might have been. I might have just been like,
You're not being a dick. You
I would
have
have been like,
boundaries.
hey, can you put your phone away? Like, we're having a conversation here.
It's
like,
so rude.
fucking put it away. Like, that's my big one
Oh,
of my
I
big
know.
pet
It's
peeves.
One of my biggest pet peeves.
Like,
It is
oh, yeah.
so disrespectful.
Okay, cool, Rose. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, what are you doing? We're having a serious conversation.
Are we? Oh, sorry. What? I missed that. No. Like, it's like the rudest thing you can do.
It's the rudest thing you can do. It's
Yeah.
already rude even when you're just having a normal conversation.
Yeah.
But when you're having a serious conversation and this person is like pouring their heart out, this person is talking about your relationship.
Yeah.
And you're
there's, like-
supposedly engaged with this person and you're on your fucking phone.
Yeah.
Oh, now let's get to the rumors.
Oh yeah, but wait. So the rumors here, guys. So wait before we dive into the big rumor. As soon as this lightning speed, probably the fastest breakup.
Oh, yeah.
The Guinness World
She's
Record of breakup.
crying.
Yeah, she's bawling. Guys, I think we actually should. This couple should apply to the Guinness World Book of Records for the fastest breakup in history.
5 seconds.
5 seconds. And as soon as he's done, he kind of goes up the stairs and he goes off camera.
He's like, let's have a hug so there's no beef.
Yeah.
What? Okay, I'm sorry.
I was like, who is this person?
Can we pause on this for a second? Let's hug so there's no beef. I'm sorry. Your fiance, the one that you said you loved,
And you proposed to.
that you proposed to, is crying her eyes out because because of the relationship ending, which is a fair whatever. Okay.
No beef.
No, and he's basically like, yeah, there's no beef, bro. Like
Yeah.
that's essentially you might as well have said that.
Also, if your partner said that to you,
I would again.
Can we hug so there's no beef? I'll be like, oh, now there's beef. Now you thought there wasn't beef before. Now there's fucking beef. Oh,
There is motherfucking beef.
there is beef now. Okay,
Okay.
there is some beef cooking in the kitchen. Vegan beef.
And and then they he gives her the most unemotional, unsupportive hug ever.
No.
Like you might as well have been hugging like your fucking, I don't know, dentist, okay?
Yeah.
And then he goes straight upstairs, calls his bro,
Yeah.
and is like, "Hey man, I'm coming over with my shit."
Yeah.
No conversation. Like the literal breakup was him saying, "Well, if you feel that way, then I don't think we should be together. We should just end this now."
Yeah.
Okay, there's no beef? Okay, got it.
Let's hug so there's no beef. See you later.
Kenneth, you
Peace
disappointed
out.
me.
Oh,
This is again, looks can be deceiving.
yes.
Because he portrayed himself. And again, I feel like, fucking Brittany, she got scammed, okay?
She did get scammed. And I feel like with Brittany, she actually was a really sweet girl.
She was sweet. And Kenneth portrayed himself as this gentlemanly guy that was bringing her chairs and doing all this, gentlemanly stuff, again, because the bar's below fucking, the seafloor.
Yeah. I actually feel really bad for Brittany because even when, because she, again, similar to how Laura handled that conversation with Jeramy, with the cheating allegations, Brittany was so, for her age, I'm shocked she's 25. Every conversation that she had with Kenneth, she had it in such a professional, but I don't want to say professional, but a very eloquent way. She was very she never was rude or anything like that.
Like it's your fault this, it's your fault
Exactly.
that.
She would never do that. She'd be like, maybe I'm not giving you what you need. You need to let me know. And she's like, this is what I need. And this is like, she was so good at those conversations. So it really fucking pissed me off that the whole time, like she was, because it would be different if she was like some psycho that was like screaming all the time. I'll be like, okay, sure, be on your phone.
Sure.
But she was actually like on the show, one of my favorites, to be honest.
I really liked her.
In terms of how she handled a lot of the situations, even this conflict, like she was crying and stuff. And even though Kenneth, like she had every right to be like, you're the fucking piece of shit. She never went there.
Yeah, she never went there.
She never went there.
Calm.
She gave him a hug. He left, and she was just like crying a lot because this is somebody that she thought she was going to get married to.
Apparently so.
Yeah.
What I don't understand with these Christian people that go on the show, why are you on the show? The fact of the because technically if you're Christian, technically you're not supposed to get divorced, right? They're very anti-divorce.
Right.
So it's like you're really increasing the chance of you getting divorced if you want to marry someone after like a week of knowing them. So girl, go on Christian Mingle.
Yeah.
Leave Love is Blind alone. What are you doing?
Do you remember that girl? I think her name was Shauna, the one that was like this.
Yes.
Wasn't she really religious as
yes.
well?
I mean, it's America. Like 80% of them are like religious.
But like so religious.
But like some of them are like really religious. At least she didn't get married. She didn't get married, right?
No, she didn't. She was always.
So anyway, people are Kenneth. What's wrong with you?
We didn't address the rumors.
Yeah. So the rumor has it. Now we don't know if this is true. Okay, and I do think it's a little bit like
speculation. But apparently, there's like read receipts.
Oh.
There's like somebody posted something.
Well, you have to say the rumor first.
So the rumor is that he is
a homosexual.
He's a homosexual. He's one of the gays.
He's one of the guys.
And the rumor has been going around and blah, blah, and everyone's like, yeah, that's why he called his bro right away. And like, that was actually his like boyfriend. So what are the
receipts, Daniel? I know there was a cousin that commented.
Yes.
But is that really a receipt?
The cousin commented on Facebook or something. Somebody on things.
Have we confirmed that is the cousin?
We haven't confirmed, guys. We haven't done enough we haven't done enough sleuthing. But anyway, again, it's speculation. We don't know. Allegedly, a family member came forward and was like, hey, that's Kenneth. He's as gay as the rainbow. So I don't know.
I mean, it kind of sucks if he's gay and he's like in the closet and he just got outed.
Yeah, that would suck. I mean, it's not nice, but it's also kind of sucks if he's gay. He knew
Why
he
are you
was
on the
gay,
show?
But then went on the show just
That's
for
true.
fame and money. You know what I mean?
There was another guy in one of the earlier episodes or earlier seasons. It may have been season 1.
Yeah.
That was supposedly gay.
So I can't remember his name. He came out as bisexual. And again, I don't want to like label or like be mean to anyone or anything, but like he came out as bisexual, but then there was like, and he
on the show
he was on the show. He told his fiance.
Oh, did he? I forgot. Okay.
And then they were at the pool and she was just like, at first she was like, look, I don't know how to handle this. Like you should have told me this in the pods, first of all. Like, so I made an educated decision because that's a lot to put on me. He took that way negatively.
Right.
Then they split up at the pool.
Oh, wow, you have good memory.
Yeah, I just remember this particular instance. But then a bunch of stuff went online about this guy, and he was on another TV show a long time ago. Like
so we're still talking about season 1 guy.
Yeah, this is like season 1. And
and he was super gay in that show.
Super flamboyant. Like
there's no way he's
level.
bisexual.
Like way like a real drama queen.
Yeah.
And his demeanor and everything had completely changed.
Right. So you could tell he was putting on a show.
So it's kind of like,
this is the thing with these shows, you can never believe anything.
Exactly. Like maybe I should go on.
Daniel?
Hey. My demeanor will change, Rose.
Do your straight man voice. I'm going to close my eyes.
Hang on. Hey, how's it going?
No, Daniel, you can't do it.
Yes, I can.
I can clock you right away. I've clocked you right away.
No, it's because you know me. Okay,
Daniel, trust me. There's a twang to your voice.
We've not been in the pods.
Wait, say more. Say more than how's it going.
We've not been in the pods.
You can't do it, Daniel.
We've not been in the pods. Cyrus.
You say that like it's the way you say your S's.
No, it's not.
It totally is. Guys, let's be honest.
Let's not be honest. And Rose is just homophobic.
I'm not homophobic. I'm just saying the truth. Let me get some more wine.
Anyway, so that's Kenneth and
so
Brittany.
do we think do we believe he's gay?
I don't know. I honestly, it's if he is,
great, fantastic. Why are you on Love is Blind?
Exactly. Why are you on the show? Like, this is why I say they should do a Love is Blind gay edition.
I was seriously just thinking this before we recorded this. I was like, I would watch the shit out of Love is Blind gay edition.
The drama would be
gays and the drama.
The drama. Oh, guys, you think this show is dramatic?
Bottoms versus tops.
Oh.
I would
Rose.
die.
It would be
I
good.
would pay to watch that show. Okay, I would fucking pay Netflix Premium.
I think we should pitch the idea.
I think we
as
fucking
long as we don't get
should.
Nick Lachey and Vanessa to be the hosts.
Oh my god, they're so boring
and terrible.
They would have better hosts for the gay edition.
Yeah, they
okay,
would.
they have to because I'm sorry, that cannot fly.
They're so boring.
They're so boring. They're so cringe. They're just they just.
I'm shocked because there was a petition that went around that one year that they were like, and I thought that they would only be on for one more season, but they're just
I know
continuing
they just kept
on.
going. Whatever.
I was like, maybe they're just like people would forget about it.
People did forget about it.
Yeah.
Whatever.
It is what it is.
Anyways, okay, I'm gonna get more wine. I'm
Okay.
gonna take a piss, and then we're gonna move on to the juicy.
We got two juicy.
We got two juicy couples that we need to talk about.
The juice.
The juice is real.
It'd be worth a squeeze.
This first.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, guys.
All right, guys, we're back. We've
We're back.
refilled the wine.
Cheers.
Cheers. We'd be feeling a little tipsy.
Maybe you know what? Actually,
Mm.
I'm gonna pitch to Netflix. Gay edition Love Is Blind. Host Cheap Lazy Vegan.
Ah!
Can you guys imagine?
Oh,
or we could be the hosts.
Should we just start a show?
Damn.
A budget Love Is Blind.
Love is
Blurry.
love.
That's the.
Love is blurry.
Oh my God, Love Is Blurry YouTube edition.
Mhm.
Oh, the thoughts are rolling.
We can be the hostesses with the mostesses.
The hostesses with the mostest. So I'll be the host.
Yeah.
You will be one of the contestants.
No,
Daniel, I would pay to watch that.
Oh god,
Guys,
I would
let
cringe.
us know.
I don't want people to see me on dates.
No, Daniel, you're gonna have to get used to it. Okay.
Oh god.
Here's the thing. I do wonder because it's like cameras are everywhere. Can you possibly act as yourself?
Exactly.
On these
Like
dates?
how comfortable can you be? Because
mean-
like even now, like we know there's a camera there.
Exactly.
So like I'm not gonna be like too crazy.
I mean, you
I
know,
mean we still are, but
we don't really hold back too much.
That's true.
But I think it's more like I think I could act as myself, kind of like obviously with the awareness that there is a camera.
yeah.
But if it was just like hidden cameras, but we know that there's cameramen, a camera crew following these people.
Yeah.
So it's not just like a camera's here and there. It's like there's literal people in the same room as you.
Like it would be like a crew
listening.
being here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're listening to your conversation. So it's like, how could you possibly have a normal date?
And how awkward it'd be if you're getting in when Jeremy and Laura are in their like massive fight and there's like a camera crew there
And the guy's just like,
and can you imagine being the camera crew there? She's like, yeah, don't send me your location
Yeah.
when you don't expect me to see it. They're probably like, oh shit. I couldn't be a camera crew at that moment. I would
I
be
know,
like,
I'd be
I would
like-
be too.
I'd be like shaking and be like, oh shit.
Yeah. Cut that part out.
Okay, guys. So next couple we got to talk about.
Oh.
Now we're moving into the juicy drama.
Yeah.
We're talking about AD and
Clay.
of course we have to talk about Matthew.
Oh my. Okay, well Matthew was a brief
I know, but we need to
glimpse,
talk
but
about
we have to talk about it.
because it's a throuple situation, not a throuple.
It wasn't.
I keep
It
saying
was-
throuple.
I know.
A love triangle
Are
situation.
you hinting at something, Rose?
So in the pods, right? AD, beautiful woman.
Yeah.
May I add?
Yeah.
Okay, beautiful, very sexy woman.
Like fucking hot.
Hot as hell.
Yeah.
Okay. AD is talking to two main guys.
Yeah.
Okay. There's Matthew, white as fuck man,
Yeah.
potentially a serial killer.
Oh my god, he was so weird.
He's a psychopath.
Like just to put it in perspective, guys, when he was talking to is it Jessica? Not Jessica.
Which I don't know who.
He was talking to one of the girls, Matthew, right? And he goes, "Hey, I have a list of questions,
Yeah.
1 to 15, just to give you an idea of what Matthew's like." I mean, you guys know from the show, but like he's like, "I give you here's the list of questions 1 to 15." She's like, "Oh, question 4," and he's like, "What do you like to do in your spare time?" She's like, "Oh, I like to do this. What about you?" Well, I wasn't expecting to answer the questions. I was just expecting to ask them.
Which I'm like, okay.
And then he just
immediately-
walked out of the room.
Yeah. Well, he walked out of the room at some. I don't know.
Oh my god, so many times though. He was
He
just
was
like
so weird.
so awkward.
Also very like narcissistic. I don't know what he was. Okay.
Yeah, he was a lot. He was a lot of things.
He was just like it's just rude.
I know.
Okay.
And he was a
Rude.
financial advisor. Like I would not trust him with my money.
Was he a financial advisor?
Yeah.
I think he was a finance person.
No,
No,
I'm pretty sure he's a financial advisor.
Okay, whatever. He was in the finance world,
Yeah.
whatever it was. So anyways, so he was very strange. And like there was like a compilation of clips where women were just like clearly not into him because
Yeah.
he's so weird
Yeah.
and being rude and just like
He was very rude.
just not normal on these
Yeah.
dates. Like he clearly didn't have any normal social interactions.
Mm.
And then they cut to him talking to AD.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're somehow having this connection and she's somehow breaking his wall or whatever.
Yeah.
That's how she's
Which you
feeling.
kind of did see it. Like
I believed in it for a while.
Yeah.
Okay. So there was like a moment where I think it's like literally all happened in one episode
Yeah.
where I was like, oh, you know what? Maybe he is like, he's just, he's one of those guys that's like awkward with certain people. But when he meets like the right person
Yeah.
that can like bring
He
him out of
opens
his
up a bit.
shell, he opens up.
Yeah.
And then now he's like this like loyal guy that will stick to this girl. You know what I mean? Those people. And they're having this like, deep connection, and he's saying all the right things, right?
Yeah.
He's basically like, after a couple dates, he's basically like, you know what, like I wanted to call my mom and tell her about you. And, like, I want to ask your dad for his permission or his like hand or like whatever the fuck that traditional thing is.
Yeah.
And then AD is like, well, my dad's dead anyway, whatever.
Yeah.
So, and he's saying all the right things. And at this moment, I'm like believing all this shit, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, maybe he's like,
Oh, I forgot about this part.
maybe he's like kind of decent. Like maybe he's good,
Yeah.
whatever. And then, and then AD's feeling great, right? She's like,
Yeah.
oh my God, he's saying all these like wonderful things. And
I really like him.
I really like him. We clearly have a connection. He's saying like, I'm ready to walk out of this with you. I'm ready to leave now if you want to. Like,
Yeah.
there's no one else. Like, I'm here for you. And AD's feeling fantastic. She's like, great, wonderful. She leaves. And then immediately she talks to this other girl. I can't remember her name.
Me neither.
And well, she's not talking to her, but this other girl's talking about, how she was talking to Matthew.
Yes.
And basically
Said all the exact same things. Literally word for
It
word.
was basically word for word, exactly kind of like, oh, I'm ready to leave here with you. I want to call my mom, or I want to get your, whatever.
Your dad's hand.
Basically,
your
just
dad's
reiterating everything that he said to
word for word.
word for word to another person.
Yeah. Because and the thing is, of course, you're going to have some commonalities in your dates, right? Like there's going to be some things that came up. But if you just went on a date with somebody, you come out into the common area, you're having a chat with somebody, and they are saying word for fucking word what your date just said to you, that's some bullshit. That's when you're like, okay, buddy, you are spinning this shit for everybody.
Yeah. You're just here for a game.
Yes.
You're here to play whatever game. And what I found weird was that they never showed any date clips from that couple.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? I found that so weird. So like
That is,
were showing
I didn't even
all,
think of that.
because I was like, I want to see some clips.
Yeah.
So, but they were showing all the clips of AD and Matthew having this date.
Yeah.
But they never showed any clips of Matthew and this other chick having the date, because that would have been great to watch. I don't know why they didn't show it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what they were doing.
Yeah.
Anyway, so then AD's obviously pissed because she's like, oh my God, I can't trust men anymore, because like he literally was saying, because like even I believed it as like a watcher of this fucking shitty ass show.
Yeah.
Like I was like, oh my God, like maybe he's turned around. So imagine how she's feeling. She's like, oh my God, he was saying all these things, and like that is like sociopathic.
He's good at spinning bullshit though, because then she confronted him, remember?
Yeah, she confronted him, and then he starts talking like out of his ass and saying stuff and getting her confused, getting me confused.
Spinning shit in his favor.
Because he said something like, you know what, you're here for whatever reason, and I want you to like not make a mistake, but something like, I don't know what he was saying.
Yeah.
But basically he was like, really think about this. I really like you. You're my number one, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then
she was like, I'm more confused than ever.
Because I was confused. I was like, what are you saying?
You're like, what the fuck?
And he kept he's clearly there for the clout. He wanted to be the bad guy, I think.
I think he wanted to be the shacker or whatever.
The Sheikh. He wanted to be the Sheikh.
Yeah.
Sheikh was if you guys don't remember, he was one of the villains of a previous season
4 or something.
Yeah. And so I think he wanted to be the bad guy. And then he said something like, while he's having this potentially serious conversation with AD, he goes, America loves an underdog. America loves to come back. And she's like, what are you talking about?
And then didn't he just like leave the show at that point? He's
no,
like,
wait.
Oh.
I don't think so. So then she's like, oh, America loves an underdog, blah, blah, blah. And then she was like, I'm like, you're talking to me? Like, we're here for this experience.
Yeah.
And then he's like, well, and also the fact is that he's so out of his like mind that he thinks that America like loves him for some reason. An underdog.
I mean, this guy is the definition of Delulu.
Delulu.
Yes.
And I don't know if he left immediately. I can't remember.
No, because I seem to remember, and maybe I'm thinking of this wrong because I've had a couple glasses of wine now, but I seem to remember that him and AD are having a conversation, and then he found out that the other girl like left the show or something.
Yeah.
And then he's like, well, I'm
gonna go get her.
I'm going to go get her. And AD's like, what the fuck? And then he just left.
Yeah, actually, I think you're right.
And then she was like, okay, that just happened. And then she went back to Clay.
Okay, so let's talk about Clay now.
Yeah.
So that was Matthew. He was
Yeah.
clearly some kind of sociopath, or he was just there for the clout.
Yeah. And I feel like part of her interaction with Clay did push her towards Matthew a little bit in the beginning.
In the beginning.
Yes.
Because so initially she's talking to both Clay and Matthew,
Yes.
developing
Going
some kind
well.
of connection.
Yeah.
Clay was, as she put it, one of the guys that she would normally go
Yes.
for.
Yeah.
Which you never want to do that when you're on a show called Love is Blind.
No.
When you've clearly made some mistakes in the past.
Yeah.
Because none of these people have had like very successful relationships before.
Yeah.
So you don't really want to go for the guys that you normally go for when those relationships
Always seem to fail.
always seem to fail.
Yeah.
But so Clay's normally the guy she would go for. Very suave, very like ladies' man, knows exactly what to say, very charismatic. But clearly
And I feel like she meets a lot of those guys as well because she's a cheerleader.
Oh, she's right. She's a cheerleader. She's a very attractive, voluptuous black woman.
Yes.
So I think that
Her body.
oh God.
Yeah. Like her body is like the
Out of this world.
best body I've seen on a woman.
God damn.
Ever.
That is a strong statement. You're
Okay.
making a lot of strong statements.
That is a strong statement. That might be the wine talking, guys. But no, her body's
She
like
has a very gorgeous
incredible. Like, but she's just beautiful. She's just such
Yeah, she is
a
beautiful.
fucking gorgeous
She is very hot.
person. Yeah.
So essentially, so she's
Which is
talking-
ironic because we're going to talk about what Clay was saying. in
Oh
a
my
minute.
God.
Yeah.
So they're talking. She's talking to Clay. She's talking to Matthew at this time, and this is like very beginning stages. Clay starts to say, and he's like this, very. You could tell he's. Why are you on the show?
Yeah.
He's basically like
He's not ready to settle down. He's a player.
He's a player. He's not ready for anything.
Yeah.
And then he says something like, "I'm gonna have to get an idea of what you look like."
Yes. Oh, this was iconic.
In the worst way.
Yeah.
He's like, "I have to get an idea of what you look like," and she's like, "Well, then maybe you shouldn't be on a show called Love Is Blind."
Yeah, she's like, this. You're literally defeating the purpose of this show. Like, yeah, but he's like, yeah, but honestly, like,
Looks are really important.
looks are really important. Like, describe your best attributes to me. Like, I really like full lips, big butt, this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And it was ironic.
Which she has all these things.
Exactly, it was ironic, and I kind of like really. I to be fair, I have a soft spot for AD. I liked her
I
throughout
do.
the whole show.
And at that moment, I really liked what she said.
A lot.
At that moment,
Yeah.
she went downhill. Let's face it.
Well,
I still like her.
No, but you know what I think about AD? I kind of feel like I resonate with AD.
Oh, okay. Tell me.
Only because I feel like she just like really wants to be loved and wants like
Aw.
and I feel like with her like she wanted to make, even though all the red flags were there, they were there from the beginning, she just like desperately wanted to make it work because she's met so many players, because she's done all this and she's done with that shit, but at the same time she's still not reading the red flags. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like it's more of a like,
She wants to make it work,
yeah,
but she keeps making the same mistakes.
yes,
And she's ignoring the red flags.
Yes.
Which is the problem. Which, of course, everyone wants to make it work, right? Because, and that's the issue, right? We always ignore these red flags, especially like, how old is she?
I think she's 32.
Oh, she's 33. Girl, you got to get your shit together. Come on.
Yeah.
You're too old to fall for this shit.
Yeah.
Anyways.
But it was interesting because she was like, also like, okay, like, what the fuck? We're on this experiment.
Yeah. So at that
like,
moment, she handled her shit.
Yep.
She didn't give him what he wanted.
No. And then she kind of broke it off with him at that point.
I wish she did at that moment.
Yeah.
But I think, again, guys, we're watching a show where people want to get famous. So I do think AD probably, with everyone else, wanted to get famous.
Yeah.
So she probably wanted to stay on the show. Let's be honest. I would probably want to stay on the show. So she's staying on the show. So she had 2 connections with the guys. Matthew's clearly a psychopath.
Yeah.
So she's not going to go with him. So she ended up going back to Clay. And Clay at this point, after a day, is a changed man.
Yes. And he's like, AD, you changed me.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, you make me want to be a better person.
Yeah.
Saying all the right things to, again, I feel like these were both, I'm sorry, I hate to say this because I like AD, but I do think they were both clout chasers at this moment.
Yeah.
They both wanted to get out of the pods so that they could continue on the show. And
Fair.
this is the best chance of continuing on the show.
Yeah.
So he's going to put his, best face forward or best foot forward, his best act.
Best voice forward.
Best
Because
voice forward.
They're in the pods.
Good,
so.
good catch there. And then AD is going to just accept all the bullshit.
Yeah.
I mean, whether or not she believed it,
Yeah.
she's going to accept it. And clearly he's very good with his words.
But the bullshit continued.
Bullshit continued.
And one of my favorite, not my favorite lines, but like, and I can't remember who told me this or if I saw it like on a TikTok or something like a long time ago.
Yeah.
But there was, and I don't remember exactly how I saw it, but there was like this saying or this expression, right? If somebody is telling you something, right?
If they're telling you who you are.
Not who you are, but
Okay,
they're
telling you something.
They're telling you something about themselves, they're setting it up in such a way
Right.
that
we
it's,
talked about this.
Yeah, exactly. We've talked about this off air, guys. But they're setting it up in such a way. They're almost like I don't want to say gaslighting you, but what they're doing is they're setting it up to set the expectation, right? So like if I tell you, and I'll use like a small example, like if I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm really bad with time management.
Yeah.
I'm always late.
Yeah.
Well, that sets the expectation now for you that when I'm late, I've already told you that I'm generally always late. I can apologize and be like, I'm sorry, but I told you, Rose, I'm always late, you know? And I feel like he did the same thing. He kept on this whole path like, I don't want to cheat on you.
He said it like 15
so many times. But he's like, but cheating runs in my blood. My dad was a cheater. Like, I don't want to cheat on you. You're an amazing woman. I don't want to cheat on you. And the more you keep talking about this, the more I'm like, the more I'm just like, you're just setting this up so that when you do cheat,
absolutely,
it's almost like, not that it's excused, but you're like, well, I kind of told you.
Exactly.
You know, and I fucking hate this. It's like anytime somebody says this to me, like they're setting the bar up to be like, you know,
the bar low.
Exactly. They're setting the bar low. They're like, oh, you know, I'm shit with my calendar, or I'm shit with this. It's like you're setting that expectation now.
Well, then I think the onus is up to the receiver of that message to believe them, because people are always telling you who they are, guys.
Yes.
People are always telling you who they are. You have to believe them. Okay. If someone tells you, oh my God, my dad's a cheater, I've never seen a healthy relationship, especially because he was also black. So he's saying, I've never seen a black man in a healthy relationship. I've never seen a black, he was bringing up like examples of like Will Smith, fucking random celebrities, which has nothing to do with anything.
Yeah.
Because like, what the fuck is this narrative?
Setting the stage.
He's saying all black men cheat. This is just part of the problem. This is part of the thing.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I can do it. Like blah blah blah.
I can't hold the weight of it on my shoulders. You know, I can't be the man that you know that you're looking for, but I want to change for you.
So it's like, guys, again, life lesson. People are telling you who they are.
Yep.
Believe them when they tell you.
Yes.
If someone tells you they're gonna be a cheater, or they don't know how to do commitment, you know. Because both of us have said that before.
Well, guess what?
Believe them.
Exactly. Believe them, guys, because guess what? They're not going to be able to do commitment. They're going to cheat on you. They're going to be fucking late for everything. And you can't get pissed off because they told you. They literally fucking told you.
And like, the thing is, though, he also made it so that, I guess, the way he said it as well was so unbelievably just straightforwardly basically saying, I'm going to cheat.
Yes.
Because it wasn't like my dad was a cheater, but I don't want to be that like that.
Yeah.
But it was like, and it was so weird because he was like idolizing his dad.
Yeah.
But then he said it was unhealthy.
Exactly. And he was like, he did weirdly position it. And it's like the way he went about it, I was like, the roundabout way he talked about it, you're right. He didn't directly say he's going to cheat, or he didn't directly say that, but it was like he built up this like story and narrative. Again, bringing in black men.
Yes.
Haven't seen any healthy relationships with black men.
There's plenty of black men that don't
exactly.
cheat. Let's not do this stereotyping.
Exactly. I'm like, come on. And he like, and honestly, like, not so much about his dad. Like, you saw his dad briefly, and also his mom briefly, but his mom was like a fucking
so
amazing
sweet.
woman. Yeah. So I'm like, you have a good parent, maybe parents, I don't know. Like, but it's like, don't waste somebody's time. You know, you're in this experiment, and I get it, but like, I just feel like he also just like fucking bullshitted AD the whole time.
But also, he told her exactly what he was feeling at the same time.
This is true.
Because I think the thing is, okay, here's the thing with this guy. I don't think he's necessarily a bad guy, right? He's coming from, as we've seen with his dad and his mom and the dynamic that we saw after the wedding, we've seen that there is a lot of trauma there. There's generational trauma, that shit, because his dad said that his dad was never around. So he was probably taught, like, whatever, there's no proper father figure. He didn't know how to act in a healthy, normal relationship. He got married to this woman who's obviously, you know, seems like a great woman. And then they were together for 20 something years. He cheated nonstop during that time. Because he probably didn't know how to be in a normal, healthy, committed relationship. And then he had his kid, and then he didn't know how to talk about his feelings, because literally, like, at the wedding, before the wedding, his dad came in and they had some kind of heart to heart. It was kind of cute, but at the same time, we didn't really understand what was going on. I was confused, but at the same time, it was kind of like, okay, they had a little bonding moment.
Yeah.
But it's like, you know, the man is however old, like what, 30 years old? I don't know how
Yeah,
how
I think
old
he's about
Clay
30,
was.
31.
The man is 30. This is the first heart-to-heart you've had. Like, come on now. You know, this is the issue with men and not being able to talk about their feelings. Anyways, so it's like, so Clay, I don't think he's like a bad person.
I also agree with you on that. I don't think he's necessarily a bad person.
Yeah.
I just think that he shouldn't have been on the show.
I
just think that like
he's there for clout.
Exactly. I think he's there for the wrong reasons.
And he's pretty hot physically, so he could probably get on any show.
God,
he was pretty gorgeous,
hot man.
But he was such a turn off in so many other ways.
Oh god, and yeah, looks wise, I'm like, looks wise, him and AD, I'm like the hottest couple.
I
like
know, they
holy
were
fuck,
so hot. They looked so good together.
They like even just like
superficially.
they just went together. Like
I know,
worked,
it was
you know,
black
like
love, you know.
Oh.
So sexy, but they were just so not.
Yeah.
No.
And maybe, you know, and I'm just reaching out to Clay right now, you know, it's like maybe the reason you're having these commitment issues is you're actually a homosexual.
No, but you don't want that kind of toxicness.
This is true.
Daniel,
this is
come
true.
on now. So anyways. They made it to the altar.
Yep.
And then and they always do this.
AD said yes.
They let AD say yes.
Because they knew she was going to.
They knew she was going to. Well, I wasn't sure.
I felt like she was. She's a very loving person, and I just feel like she is like she was very invested.
But also, I think so. She was following her exact patterns that she normally follows.
Yeah.
Went for the guy that was not sure, that clearly was showing her all of the red flags. And we're all watching this being like, run, girl, run.
Yeah. The whole time we're like, okay, he's talking about looks in the pod.
Oh my God. We haven't even touched the workout part.
Oh my God, the workout part. Fuck. So he's talking about the looks in the pod. He's talking about cheating.
She should have walked away and looks in the pod.
Yeah, because he's already trying to find out what you look like. It's like, okay, so clearly he's very superficial. Secondly,
a part of me, this is my very truthful side coming out.
Yeah.
A part of me feels like she went back to Clay because she knew that she could meet his expectations
of beauty
looks
standards.
wise.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, if she didn't meet those, whatever he said was his beauty standards, she wouldn't have gone back to him. Yeah. But she kind of knew, and she wanted to be validated. She wanted to be accepted. And she knew that once he saw her, he would be happy.
Yeah.
So that's why she went back to him.
Yeah. So there was that. Yep. There was the looks thing in the pod. There was the cheating, constant talk about he didn't actually cheat on her. We don't know, but like the fact that
he's probably going to cheat.
Yeah. The commitment, the never seeing healthy relationships. And then they had this nice dinner. I think they were still on holidays.
Yeah. They were still in the honeymoon.
Yeah. And then they were talking about, you know, like she's like, hey, what, you know, he was talking about how amazing her body is and all this stuff. And she's yeah, but like I could get pregnant and then obviously like things are going to change and blah, 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 blah.
Well, no, he was also like very stupid. So basically she said something like, oh, I count calories or I watch what I eat.
Right. Yeah.
And then he's like, well, you don't need to do that because you look so great. And she's like, well, I look great because I watch what I eat, which makes a lot of sense. And then he's like, well, you know, you could just work out and you'll be fine. Yeah. And then she's like, you're absolutely crazy, which I agree with.
Yeah.
Anyway, continue.
And then, they're having this conversation. She's like, well, you know what? Things could change. I can get pregnant, right? I'm going to have a baby.
Yes. I'm going to get old.
Exactly. I'm going to get old. Like, we're not going to all have banging bodies forever, you know? Like, eventually, age catches up with everyone. And you can stay in relatively good shape, but you're not going to be like, you know. Anyway, she's like, these things are going to happen. He's like, yeah, well, I'll just tell you to get your ass to the gym. Yeah. And she was like, what?
Yeah, like, something like this. What? I
can't remember exactly how he said
it.
But
he may as well have said it.
She's like, Clay, you cannot just tell me to get my fucking ass to the gym. She's like, yeah, that's what I'm going to tell you.
It's like, don't you want someone to motivate you? Wouldn't that motivate you? And she's like, no, that's just really mean. That's just not a good way to communicate things. Yeah. And he's like, well, you know, what kind of a good trainer would say that? Blah, blah, blah. And
she's like, I'm not looking for a trainer. I'm looking for a partner.
Yeah, you're not my trainer. You're my husband / boyfriend / fiance, whatever. Mm-hmm. And then he's like, well, you know, that's the way to motivate somebody, blah, blah, blah. Like, and then and I'm like, girl, run.
Yeah.
Again, people are always telling you who they are. Exactly. Run. And then he said, I would not let you get fat.
Yes. Yeah, he did.
That was, guys, listen to people's wording when they talk to you.
Yeah.
I would not let you get fat.
Yeah.
Run.
Yes. There was so many, and I'm sorry, AD, because I really we'll talk more about her.
I have a soft spot for her.
I really connected with her.
I liked her.
I think
she's
honestly,
just a lost girl.
She was lost with the relationship wise. I feel like she got a little bit lost, but there were so many moments where I feel like AD carried herself so well.
Right.
in terms of like, we'll talk about in a minute, the wedding. We'll also talk about her confrontation with Sarah Ann. Like every single time,
yeah, I like that.
she always is just like, she's a very well put together woman. That's what I love about her.
Though, because like in the Sarah Ann situation, which we'll get to, she was so good at seeing all the red flags, and she was like
of other people's relationships,
exactly,
but not her own.
I know, but that's everybody. Like
that is everyone.
Everyone's really bad. Anyway, whatever.
Guilty as charged.
Exactly.
We're all there.
So let's still talk about that moment where basically he's like, "I wouldn't let you get fat."
Yeah.
And then she's like, "That's crazy." Yeah. Like blah blah blah. And then he kind of he tried to diffuse the situation because he's good at that. He kind of saw, oh, she's like really not having this.
Yeah. Let's spin
and
some
bullshit. And then he's
bullshit.
like, oh no, but I would just like walk you to the gym, or
we'd
like
work out together.
And then she's like, well, what if I was pregnant? And he's like, well, I'd be with you at the gym every day.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bitch, have you ever seen a pregnant woman? Do you know what pregnant women are going through? You expect her to be at the gym every day? Of course it's going to be easy for you. You're not carrying a child.
Yeah. You mean you're not going to be at the gym every day when you're pregnant, Rose?
Well, I'm just going to let myself go, you know? It's just, this guy is so mature.
Yeah.
He needs to grow the fuck up.
He does. He's so...
He's kind of also like a mama's boy a little bit.
He is, but he's also just stuck. He's stuck in this like... I don't know, this superficial, really...
He's so insecure
but
as
like
well.
Hyper superficial.
He's so insecure.
Yeah.
You could just tell he's so insecure with himself.
Yeah.
With showing his emotion. He like freaked out about crying about
something.
something.
He was like, oh my God, I cried. This is so fucked up. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, it's not fucked up to fucking cry.
Like, you're just a child at this point.
Even though he's in his 30s. I'm like, dude, you're not 21. Like, grow up hair.
I just feel like, because he wasn't... Like, I don't know how he was parented, obviously, okay, but his dad was obviously a bit,
all over the place.
And maybe his mom coddled him because of whatever reason. Who the fuck knows? And the things that he was asking, like, AD to do, like, he really wanted to be, like, coddled, like a child. Women, run from mama's boys.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that is not... You do not want to mother your fucking partner.
God, also, it's like a turnoff to me. Like, if
it's such a turn off.
If I'm having to like fucking mother somebody,
God, what kind of Freudian bullshit is this?
I'm like, oh, why? Like, get your shit done.
Oh God, and like also like, why am I mothering you?
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
Oh,
like ew. Okay. Be a man. Literally.
Yes.
He was so like, that's what's ironic about some of these macho boys.
Yeah.
You just know they're just not men. Like they're just so insecure.
Yeah.
They want to be mothered. They want mothers as like their fucking partner.
Yeah.
They don't want like it's just
I
weird.
feel like it's like that guy you guys met in Costa Rica.
Did we talk about this in the
Patreon
exclusive?
It was in the exclusive,
If
guys.
you want to listen to the Costa Rica story of how me and my friend came across a very interesting person in Costa Rica that was maybe kind of similar to the Clay situation.
Yes.
And we had a full-on conversation about that. And if you want to hear that full story, check out our Patreon.
Check out our Patreon exclusive.
Good transition there.
So anyway, back to AD and Clay. Anyway, you should check out our Patreon though. It's a great episode.
It's a great episode. You guys should listen to the story time. Deep dive into that story time. Which one was that? December? No, it was January. Oh, February.
Yeah.
February exclusive.
Our most recent exclusive.
Anyways, so okay, let's do a little cheers.
Cheers.
I'll be a little tipsy.
So AD, Clay, we talked about all the drama, the dynamics.
They said no Clay said no in the altar.
Yeah, but then
which I do appreciate that he said that.
Yes.
But people are like, he basically dragged her to the...
And then this is where, okay, there's a couple moments where I really, really love AD. So the first one was Sarah Ann. So they had like a kind of get together where everyone's there. This was before the wedding.
Everyone, not just the couples that made it, but the people, the other connections, and everyone.
Like it was a mixer for basically the reason they do these mixers is just to get some drama TV.
Yeah.
There's no other reason. Why are they all getting
drama.
together?
Exactly.
Yeah. And Sarah Ann was there. AD had to sit down with Sarah Ann. And they were chatting about the Jeramy and Laura situation. And AD, like, again, articulated herself so well, was really, like, had a very valid argument, was like, hey, this is the situation.
Well, okay, let's recap. Sarah Ann is the girl that that connected
With
with Jeremy,
who was with Laura.
And the one that potentially was intimate with Jeremy. Who the fuck knows?
Who knows?
That evening when Jeremy was supposedly in a parking lot.
Till 5 a.m. Yeah.
And she's the one that sent the message to Jeremy.
She also sent a message and said, hey, if the windows or the door's still open, I'm here.
Which is so cringe.
Yeah.
And then, so AD fucking called her out.
Yeah. But in a, like, not in a harsh way, but was just like, hey.
She was pretty harsh, but truthful.
She was just like, hey, like, he chose her. Like, you're not giving them their fair opportunity for this experiment, blah, 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 blah. And then Sarah Ann's like doubling down, like, no, like, you know, I just felt like I didn't chase him as much as I should have and blah, 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 blah. And then AD was like, hey, that's like a, you know, an engaged woman, man that you're going after technically, right? And Sarah Ann's like, well, I feel really, really attacked, blah, blah, blah. And then AD goes, well, if you feel attacked, that's on you. Like, I'm just telling you the facts here, you know? And then I
know she was so good at seeing the situation.
Yeah, other situations, not her. So that was a moment I really liked AD. And then the other moment I really liked AD was actually at the wedding. So when Clay was like, no, obviously she was really emotional. She was crying a lot and everything. But at the same time, she still kind of kept herself together and wasn't like, even though Clay came back and he was like, hey, like, I really want to date you. I still want to date you. I still want to be together. She like stood her ground at this point. She was like, I think at that point, the bullshit was done for her.
But we don't know yet because some people are speculating that they're still together.
Yeah, so we don't know yet,
but
guys.
At that moment.
Yes. So what we know so far until the reunion episode tomorrow,
at
face value, I really appreciate the fact that she was kind of like, you know what? We're done. Like, I was here to get married. You dragged me out. I thought you had changed. And then she was like talking to the camera and she's like, I feel like, you know, we've both grown from this relationship, but he like grew a lot more. Like maybe he is changed, but like not for me. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, I've helped him get to the place where he needs to be, unfortunately, but I'm going to have to keep looking, you know?
Yes. Because he's not actually there.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, but who knows if they're together or not, whatever it is.
It's going to be interesting on the reunion.
I know.
There's going to be some, but the thing is, the thing that really disappoints me with this show is there's a lot of drama that always happens every season. And then the reunion, I feel like
underwhelming.
It's underwhelming. It's like there's some real heated drama and nobody sticks into it, you know? Like if I was the show host, I would have been like, whoa, like Jeremy, what were you actually doing? Like who's there at 5 a.m.? But they kind of just like, oh, talk about it a little bit. Okay, cool. Moving on.
They need better hosts, honestly.
Yes.
If they need to get fucking like, I don't know.
Poke the bear a little bit. It's a TV show.
They need like a Jerry Springer in there or something.
Maybe not quite as extreme, but like, you know what, you get what I'm talking about, right?
Like that's the thing. Nick and Vanessa Lachey are not meant for this job. I don't know how they got this job. They're not good hosts. They're not interesting. They're not funny.
Yeah.
They're cringe at best.
Yeah.
And they don't know how to this is a drama-filled show.
Exactly.
Fucking go with the drama.
It's like, for example, let's say you had a fight with Sarah Ann. This is how they would handle it. Oh, Rose, tell me a little bit about your confrontation you had with Sarah Ann. You'd be like, yeah, we had a discussion, but we've resolved it now. Okay, great. Moving on.
Yeah.
It's like,
but why did you do that?
Exactly.
Why?
Like, not any, like, let's get a little bit
They're so bad at it.
I know.
They cannot do the job. I'm sorry. They are not fit for this. I don't know who
Vanessa's
hired
always
them.
like, who's having a baby? Anyone having a baby?
I know. It's like, who
baby?
cares about the fucking baby?
It's like, stop talking about the babies.
They need
Focus
new
on the
hosts. I don't get it.
Do they watch the show? Do they know what's going on?
Exactly.
Like, fuck.
I know. I totally, seriously, they need better hosts because the hosts, okay, I don't know if you watch The Hills, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember The Hills after show?
I remember briefly, yeah.
Do you remember who hosted them?
Yeah, Dan Levy and
then this girl, I can't remember her name now.
What was her name?
But they were good.
Yeah.
They were really good.
Yeah.
They dug in. They were very interesting as well, personality-wise.
Yeah. But you have to be as a host.
We could host this fucking show.
I know.
We would be great.
Okay, so I think we need to write to Netflix. We'll add it to our resume. We're going to do this on
to be like, yeah, AD, what the fuck were you thinking with Clay?
Yeah.
Come on, just
but
be
put
honest.
pressure on them, but nice, but be like, look, really loved you in the show and everything else, but like,
AD,
come on.
How many times could he have told you that he cheated or he will cheat?
There's so many red flags. What was going on there? Talk us through this.
Oh God, honestly. Well, we'll see. Maybe they've improved this time around.
Let's see. I think they're even more scared because of all
bland as fucking
white toast.
Exactly.
Honestly, I feel like after all that backlash that they had about that one situation,
that one season, yeah,
I feel like they're almost like Vanessa's probably like even more scaled back because she's like kind of scared to get the backlash.
Is, she wasn't even bad in like a dramatic way. It was just like really cringe that
Yeah.
I can't remember exactly.
Well, it
what
was
happened.
cringe, and also she was like just taking the girl's side. Do you remember? It was like that Marshall and
Right.
God, what was her name? I can't remember the
I
girl's
can't
name.
remember.
But
Fresh
basically,
Prince and someone else.
yeah. So basically, Marshall, this girl like left him for this other guy, and like was very like adamant, like
Took the ring.
took the ring, never returned it, and Vanessa just like sided with her, like no
Yeah.
questions asked. Even though like from the outside, at least from the edits that we saw, like she was quite like a toxic,
Awful?
a toxic girl, and it was like, why the fuck are you not questioning her about it? Tell her to give back the ring. Like there's so many things. Anyway,
I know.
Yeah.
It was awful.
yeah.
So now.
Oh, the creme de la
la creme.
creme. Oh,
We're moving on to Jimmy
and Chelsea.
and Chelsea.
Whew.
But we first have to talk about the love triangle that is Jimmy, Chelsea, and Trevor.
But actually, it's a love quadruple, if you remember. Because it was
love quadruple! Love square! It was a love square!
because you had Jimmy, you had Chelsea,
almost forgot.
you had Trevor,
You had Jessica.
and you had Jessica.
Okay, we have to talk about Jessica. Let's start with Jessica.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
So, what are your thoughts?
So my thoughts on Jessica are I don't know, she seemed really genuine at first. When she was first on the show and stuff, and then the more I kind of like got to know her, I was like, are you just here for fame?
I am kind of this. Okay, so the thing is, I've seen a lot of rhetoric on social media. A lot of people saying they love Jessica. Oh my God. So basically, okay, Jessica is a very hot woman.
Yeah, she's
Probably most gorgeous woman on the show, I think. I mean, body-wise, I think AD definitely.
Yeah.
Facial-wise, Jessica is gorgeous.
Yeah, she's really
I'm
pretty.
sure she's had work done, but whatever.
Yeah.
She looks great.
Yeah.
Jessica is an interesting character because she is a single mom, which is supposedly the first on the show to have a child. We
Yeah.
don't know if that's actually true.
Yeah.
But first on the show to actually be a big deal and have a child.
Mm-hmm.
So that was like a big part of who she was. And I want to ask you, because one of the things that she said from the very beginning was, because people were asking her, are you going to tell people immediately that you have a child? And she said, I want people to get to know me first before I say that about, because that's not the only thing about me.
Yeah.
So what do you think about that?
Well, actually, I kind of like that because at the end of the day, obviously, if you have a child, and we don't have children, so we don't know exactly what's involved, but they do take up a lot of your time and your life. It does revolve quite a lot around your children. But I think if you're a good parent and you're a good, like, to yourself as well, as you have your own life as well outside of that, right? Like, and that's who you are as a person. So when you're dating someone, they're not really, I mean, they are obviously, like, your child is important, but they're dating you. So I would like, and also I feel like in an experiment like this, if you set it out right off the bat, there's going to be people that will just shut it down right away without getting to know you right away.
I thought the same thing at first.
Yeah.
But upon thinking about it more, I actually think, first of all, it's a problem because I think that it's a very crucial bit of information that you should share almost immediately before getting invested in somebody. Because the problem is, you're on a show, and if we take it at face value, you're there for 5 days in the pods.
Yeah.
You have 5 days to build a connection with someone, which means that every single day is crucial. Every single day you're talking, you're building these deep connections. Okay.
These deep, intimate connections, Rose, that we will never understand because we're not in the pods.
Oh, by the way, Love is Blind is coming to Canada.
I saw.
So maybe we will understand what's in the pod.
Once we're in the pods,
Anyways.
should I pretend to be straight and go on the show, Rose, for clout? I'll promote this podcast.
Anyways, so I think because you're on the show and you have limited time, and everyone has limited time,
This is true.
I think it's not fair to build these connections based on this, like, almost like a white lie. Not a white lie, but like a hidden lie, like a it's a lie that you didn't say.
Yeah.
It's a lie by omission.
It's a hidden truth.
Yes. But I also understand the hesitation, because I know that
There's a stigma.
it's not really a stigma, but a lot of people aren't ready for a child.
True.
But then it's like, then maybe don't be on a show called Love is Blind. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, I don't know. It just feels like it is a bit deceptive, I think.
Yeah.
I think so. Because imagine, like, put yourself in that situation, okay? You're on a date with a guy. And again, we're talking about, this is like 30 dates compressed into like 5.
Into one. Because, 30, 30, 30, 30, and then get engaged.
Exactly. So like this, we're talking 2 years worth of dates compressed into, cause like, I don't know.
5 days.
Into like 5 days.
Yeah.
So every day is like, I don't know, like fucking half a year or something. Okay.
Yeah.
Whatever hell. So for half a year or for months, you're building a connection with this person. You're really liking this person. And then they drop this bomb and they say, I have a child.
Ooh.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's a little different because you're on this experiment. Now, I would understand in the very, like, if it's in the real world and you're meeting people, going on dates.
Yeah.
Then maybe. But even then, I feel like, I don't know. I just feel like, a child is such a integral part of your life.
Yeah. Well, it's a huge commitment as well.
And some people, the thing is, some people are okay with that.
Yeah.
Yes, it will shrink the pool.
Yep. 100%
Quite
it will.
significantly.
Yeah.
But some people are okay with it. It's like, for example, I'm vegan. I don't say it on a dating app. I don't think it's as important as having a child.
Yeah.
Okay? Because it's not like I'm looking for only vegans.
Yeah.
Right? But I say it in the first date. I don't hide that for like 5 dates.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, and I don't even understand how you can hide it because how much and I get it. You're a mom, but you still have your own individual personality.
Right.
You have your own individual traits, but you're talking about deep shit immediately. Usually, right? It's like within like 2 days, probably.
Yeah.
So how can you omit this?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't think it's a good idea.
So do you think if I went on the show, I should tell people like
That you have 3 kids?
No, not the 3 kids. Pretty early that I'm bisexual though.
That might be an important fact to share with me as well first before you tell anyone.
No, but I mean, if I'm on a show pretending to be, straight, quote unquote straight,
Well, Daniel, I think everyone would clock it immediately.
Yeah, they probably would. It wouldn't be a Kenneth situation. I'm not as smooth as him,
It wouldn't be a Kenneth situation.
If Kenneth is, we're speculating here.
We're speculating.
And let me
here.
guess, Nick and Vanessa probably aren't going to bring that up.
That's a little bit of a sensitive topic.
That is it's sensitive.
But who knows? Anyways, so Jessica didn't want to talk about it. Either way, that was her choice. We don't know if it's right or wrong. What do you guys think? Let us know.
Yeah.
So she didn't want to talk about it. And so she started talking to Jimmy.
Yeah.
Jimmy being the most bland, boring white man I've ever seen in my entire fucking life.
What is with these guys, though, that go on there that are the most basic white guys ever? Like, literally, this has happened almost every season.
I saw
multiple girls loving them.
I know. But then I saw a theory, which I kind of feel like that makes sense.
Yeah.
And it's not just with guys, but it's with girls as well. It's like when someone is really boring and bland, you almost project who you are onto them.
Right.
So then you feel like you have some kind of connection or something.
Weird.
It's like a weird thing. So because they're kind of like maybe agreeable or something, right? You kind of feel like, oh my God, I found this person because like, they're agreeing with what I'm saying.
They're agreeing with everything I say.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So I think that could be part of it. And I think with Jimmy, it was his voice. He had like a deep Southern voice, which for me, I'm not attracted to.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people were saying, I saw like a lot of people commenting saying it was his voice.
Right. Okay.
He had this kind of calming, kind of mature sounding voice, which I think some people could find attractive.
Just the words that were coming out of his mouth. That's the turnoff.
The lack of words.
Yeah.
Like he was fine. I'm not against Jimmy.
Yeah.
I just think he's just, piece of white bread.
Yeah. And also, like, I'm sorry, Jimmy, but like,
and he's not a looker.
No, thinking that you're gonna pull some girl like that looks like
Megan Fox. We'll get to that. So
I can't with this. This show was golden.
I know, it was
this
so good.
season was the best season.
So then I think it may have been.
Yeah.
I think I was the most invested in this season.
Yes, I was by far. The other seasons I was like,
it was golden.
Maybe season 1 because it was like new, and I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Then the other seasons I was kind of like,
I know.
Okay.
This one was probably the best.
This was
season
like,
1.
what the fuck?
So, so Jessica, who's this hot chick, builds this connection with Jimmy, right?
Yeah.
And Jimmy at the same time is talking to Chelsea, and Chelsea at the same time is talking to Trevor.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got a love square situation.
Love quadruple, if you will.
Love quadruple.
Yeah.
But then, and I think this is a phenomenon that happens on Love is Blind all the time. And guys, be aware of this phenomenon in case you ever go on Love is Blind.
Yep.
People always choose the one that has other choices. And this happens in real life as well. This perception. So for example, like let's say you like someone and you know that there's other girls that like this person or other guys that like this person,
Yeah.
you are more likely to think that this person is attractive because we're social creatures, and because we're social creatures, we value other humans' opinions.
Yeah.
And their, what they approve of.
Right.
So, and I think with Love is Blind, it's extra like this because obviously, I don't know, you're kind of clouded, you're drinking, you're fucking whatever the fuck you're doing.
They're drunk half the time.
They're drunk half the time. So whoever is desired the most is who you will go for.
Right.
But I think that's a mistake as far as we've seen.
Always
a mistake, especially for the girls. Ladies, don't go for the guy that has like 2 other options.
Yeah.
Because then he's not going to pay attention to you because he's going to know he has other options.
Exactly. And the weird thing is with this love quadruple is Chelsea actually seemed like when you watch the show, so obviously we don't see all of it, but she seemed like she had a better connection with Trevor than she did with Jimmy anyway. And I feel like she didn't even really start pursuing Jimmy as much as she did until she found out that Jessica, who she also saw was an absolute smoke show, was now like, oh my God, Jessica also likes this guy. I kind of want to get this guy to be like, I'm fucking hot like Jessica.
You hit the nail on the head, Daniel.
Yeah.
That is the nail on the head. That is exactly why I think, and a lot of people think, she went for Jimmy.
Yeah.
Because she's so insecure, right? Chelsea
Do you think so?
Do you think I'm cute? Do you think I'm attractive? What did you think of me when we first met? Do you think that I'm like good enough? Like, oh my God. Anyway, we'll get to Chelsea.
Yeah.
I'm sure she's a nice person.
Yeah.
But she has some issues. Okay. She needs to go to therapy beyond words. Okay.
Yeah.
So I truly believe, as you do, that she went for Jimmy because she wanted to prove that she could get Jimmy
over Jessica
because Jessica is this hot girl and she wanted to be better than this hot girl.
Right.
Which I think was a big mistake that kicked her in the ass later on.
Yeah.
Okay. But that's what happened.
Yeah.
So essentially, because like she clearly, I mean, again, based on the edits, she clearly had a better connection with Trevor. Trevor was into her.
Yes.
Trevor said, and although there's drama about Trevor as well.
Yeah.
But again, based on what we saw on the show, Trevor seemed like this genuine guy that wanted to get to know her. He didn't have anyone else. But again, I feel like because she knew that he didn't have anyone else, again, we're talking about attachment styles as well at this point.
Yeah.
Okay. If you're anxious or avoidant attachment style, if you're an anxious attachment style, you go for the guy that doesn't necessarily want you.
Yeah.
Okay. You don't go for the secure guy that's saying, I do want you. You go for the guy that's like, oh, I don't really know.
And also, guys, like, the whole point of this experiment, right? Love is blind, which, I mean, the experiment's bullshit anyway. Everyone's usually fucking hot on the show.
Bullshit.
Yeah. I mean, they're starting to branch out a little bit, but like still, everyone's still pretty
barely,
hot. Yeah.
No.
But why are you talking about looks? Like, why are you saying
that should be banned?
It should be. Like,
really
you should not be allowed to be like, hey, I'm 6 foot, I'm this, I'm that. No. You're not allowed to talk about it. Like, literally, you cannot talk about it. And so, like, the fact that, like, and I think I can't remember if she brought it up or he brought it up. I was like, do you have a celebrity lookalike? It was her, wasn't it?
So we're going to that.
Yeah.
Okay. Wait.
Chelsea.
Okay, so we're going to Chelsea. Okay.
Yeah.
Chelsea brings up, she says, does anyone ever tell you that you look like a celebrity? And then he goes, yes. And then I think this may have been an edit. I hope it was an edit.
Yeah.
Because immediately as soon as he says yes, she goes, me too.
Yeah.
Because that's not a normal conversation. Because like, imagine this. So does anyone ever tell you look like a celebrity?
All the time.
Me too. That's not a normal response. I would say, who?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
You don't say, me too.
I'd be like, oh, yeah, they do. And you'd be like, oh, really? Who? Like, who's?
Exactly.
Like,
so either the edit was, I think they fucked her with the edit. I do think so.
Yeah, I think they think they did a lot of things for her.
They
in the edit.
had to. Because like there's no.
But she was providing them comedy gold.
Oh my
like,
God.
Let's be honest.
And then she goes, because he's like, oh, who do you look like?
Yeah.
And she goes, well, it's only because I have dark hair and blue eyes.
Yeah.
And then he's like, who? And then she's like, well, I don't even remember her name.
as if you don't fucking remember her name.
I know that
like,
part.
Come on.
Everyone's like, come on.
Yeah.
She's like, it's like MGK's wife.
I think.
I'm like, who the fuck is? First of all, MGK, Machine Gun Kelly. First of all, who the fuck thinks Machine Gun Kelly is more famous than
Megan Fox.
Who the fuck
right off?
Who the fuck remembers Machine Gun Kelly?
Especially anyone in our age demographic, which they are.
Exactly.
They're a little bit younger, but like still kind of all of in our 30s.
Nobody thinks Machine Gun Kelly's wife.
Yeah, nobody. They think Megan fucking Fox.
Exactly.
Like, I'm sorry, but everybody in our generation knows Megan fucking Fox.
Exactly. So it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
So then he's like, Megan Fox? You look like Megan Fox?
and then as soon as that, Jimmy's whole thing changed. Because I think initially he had a better connection with Jessica.
Oh, but then she told him that she had a child eventually. So
Yeah.
that's another thing.
And then he was like turned off from that. And then when Chelsea at the same time was like, hey, I look
like Megan Fox.
Then he's like, well, fuck this shit. I'm going with Megan Fox.
Fuck this child and this girl that I don't know what she looks like.
Exactly.
I'm going to go with Megan Fox.
Yeah. Which ironically, Jessica looks more like Megan Fox.
Yeah,
probably.
that's what a lot of people are saying.
But also, I've seen some really interesting edits on TikTok where people have taken Chelsea's face and like done stuff with Megan Fox where they like blend them together, and actually they do look alike.
Even when before the edits, I can see like there could be some resemblance. Like I see it. Like they both have like kind of like longer faces.
Yeah.
And then they have like similar eyes for sure.
Yeah, and like that kind of
certain features.
Yeah.
I get it, but at the same time, you don't look enough like her.
Yeah.
To ever say that. And even if you did, this is one of the best looking people in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Like at least that's what people, she's one of the sexiest people in Hollywood, right? I never over my dead body would I ever say I look like a celebrity that is deemed hot.
Yeah.
Because it's like, why would you set up that expectation?
And you're almost like, again, not saying that she's not attractive, but it's like you're setting yourself up for failure because this person is so. That's like me being like, hey, I look like Brad Pitt. People get this expectation like, oh my god, this guy is so fucking hot, and then when they meet me,
they're gonna be disappointed.
Exactly.
Whereas if you didn't say that, they wouldn't be disappointed.
Exactly. They'd be like, okay, cool. Like you're actually really hot. I like you.
Why would you ever say anything like that?
But it's the insecurity part of her.
But
right?
it's like that to me is like, do you not think things through?
No.
Because it's like we're all insecure to some degree. And I would never in a million years, like this is why I don't understand catfishing, for example, like posting like really hot pictures of you online where you just know you don't look like this person.
Yeah.
Because it's like, unless you don't plan on meeting them. But if you plan on meeting them
then
in
what's
person,
the point?
Why are you posting these pictures? Because you know they're going to be disappointed.
Well, exactly. It's crazy. And it's like, but I feel like it feeds into like Chelsea, who she is as a person.
Oh God.
And that constant need for validation. And I feel like the reason she even brought Megan Fox up is because she wanted more validation and more like, oh, that's amazing. You're so hot, blah, blah, blah. Like even this is before they met, right? Like
exactly.
And she constantly, like the fact that she tries to take Jimmy, she took Jimmy away from Jessica technically, right? Like she started pursuing that more than Trevor.
Yep.
Because she knew that Jessica was into this guy and that he was into her.
And also, can we talk about the proposal aspect? So remember how like she walked into, because I thought she purposefully walked into Jimmy's room, knowing that he was going to propose to her. But then later, Trevor asked when she was like dumping Trevor, because after she had said yes to Jimmy, she went to Trevor's room, and then Trevor said, "If I had proposed to you first, would you have said yes?" And she like didn't have an answer, and I don't know if she just like didn't want to say whatever she wanted to say.
Yeah.
Or like, you know what I mean? Like I was kind of wondering about this because I was like, did she know she was walking into Jimmy's room?
Yeah.
Because like, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Anyway, this girl. No, but we got to backtrack. Talk about Jessica for a second. Okay, I'm back. We are drinking my rosé, apparently.
Yours looks more rosé than mine.
Yeah, I got a rosé. We're drinking some hard seltzer now. Moving on to that.
Low in calories. I'm in my skinny bitch era. So.
Well, if I were married to you, I'd tell you to get your ass to the gym.
I know you would. So but don't worry, you would go with me too, right?
I'd go with you.
So that's fine. Yeah.
Especially when you're pregnant.
Yes. Which I will get pregnant soon.
Exactly. So let's talk about.
We're going to talk about Jessica.
We're going to rewind to Jessica.
Yeah.
Because when Jimmy was deciding who to propose to, right? Because we're talking about a love fucking quadruple love square situation.
Yes. Yeah.
Jimmy wanted to propose. He was trying to decide. This man, again, like, I'm trying to give him some grace because obviously this is like a 4-day situation.
Yes.
He was so fumbly, very like, oh, I don't know what I want.
Oh God, he's just such a turnoff. He's a very turnoff as a man. I would never.
Yes, he's such a turnoff. Like, and even the conversations, I'm like, what are you seeing in this man? Like, what are you hearing in this man? Because like looks wise, sure, like you can't see him, like whatever.
Yeah.
And honestly,
but even conversation wise, I was like,
the thing is, if he had a great personality, he could be cute. Like, I don't mind how he looks. Like, I could, whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's not a big looker, but he's not horrible.
Yeah.
But like, personality, blah.
Oh,
Everything,
so blah.
Can't, and also does not know what he wants. Is just not manly ever.
Yeah.
Can't ever decide where to go. Like, I'm sorry. Like, this is, no.
I know. So many
so
X.
He's trying to decide between Jessica and Chelsea. And then Jessica, this is the part where a lot of people were like, yay, Jessica. But I was, and at first I was like,
the EpiPen part?
Kind of.
Yeah.
Yes. Because at first I was like, yeah, I like that speech. But then I thought about it more. Because I was trying to decide. I was like, I can't decide if I like this Jessica girl or not. And I'm not opposed to her.
Yeah, I'm like on the fence about her.
Yeah.
So.
But then, anyway, we'll talk about it. So basically, he's still trying to decide between two girls, right? And then I think at this point, the two girls were aware that there were two girls. And so Jessica at one point was like, listen, I'm going to give you until tomorrow to make a decision.
Yeah.
Because, and then after tomorrow, that'll be it. Which I kind of liked that aspect. Because I was like, you know what? You're going to give him a little bit of time to think about it, which is fair. Especially after you drop the bomb that you have a child. Okay, whatever. And she's like, you know what? After tomorrow, that's it. Like, you know, there's no other chances. Great.
Yeah.
Tomorrow comes. Before he says his decision, I think this was it. I can't remember. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah.
She gives him a letter. Do you remember this letter? The letter that was like, to my future husband. You don't remember this part?
I don't remember this part, no.
Oh my, you must have not been paying
I must
attention.
have fast forwarded through.
I was like,
I might have been
okay.
I might have been cooking or like.
Because I was like, oh my God,
knows?
this is kind of cringe.
Yeah.
She gave him this letter that was like, to my future husband. And it was something that she wrote like maybe years ago.
Yeah.
And it was like, I was going to give this to someone that I was going to marry or whatever, something like this. And it was like, it was moving and beautiful. But at the same time, it's like, I would never give it to, especially some guy I met and not met.
Especially Jimmy. Of all people, Jimmy.
And also, she gave it to him before he made any decision.
Right.
It's like, okay, I would maybe understand giving that to him after he proposed.
Yeah. And then be like, I want you to have this.
Yeah. But she gave it to him before he made any decision in order to, I believe, sway him to her direction. Because it was basically like a love letter, right?
Right.
Which I'm like, maybe that would work on a woman, but usually that kind of shit does not work on a man. Maybe it would work on a man.
It would work on me.
A gay man, maybe. So he reads his letter out loud, and it is emotional. Again, it would be emotional and thoughtful if it was for someone that you've already like decided to be with.
Yeah.
But it's like it's giving begging. It's giving like choose
pick me because I want to be on the show.
It's giving pick me.
Yeah,
kind of. So then he reads this, and then I can't remember exactly when this happens, but eventually he chooses Chelsea over Jessica.
Yeah.
And then this is when Jessica says the famous speech about how basically she starts crying, having a tantrum.
Yeah.
And again, at this point, I'm like, I can't decide if I like this or I hate it.
Yeah.
And I've decided later on, over a few days of thinking about this stupid show, that I don't like it.
Yeah.
Because first of all, he's already said he doesn't like you.
Yeah.
So I think the gracious thing to do is to just move on.
Yeah.
Say, you know what? I give him my all. I told you who I am.
All the
there's
best.
Nothing, yeah, all the best. There's nothing more I could do.
Yeah.
And if you regret it later, good for you. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
But instead, she's crying. She's saying, you stole this experience from me. This already rubbed me the wrong way from the beginning.
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, come on. You had 4 days.
Yeah.
What do you mean you stole this experience? And also, you didn't tell him you had a child.
Exactly.
Until like 4 dates in.
And also, how did he steal the experience? You still got to go on dates with multiple other people.
Everyone was dating multiple people. That was the premise of the show.
So why didn't you date multiple people?
Exactly. Why did you hone in on him?
Yeah.
Okay, because he had nothing to offer, honestly.
Yeah.
It's your problem, okay? So that part, I was kind of like, what the hell? Like, that's not really fair.
And then she makes the famous line that
you're going to
need an
you are going to choke.
Yeah.
She said, Jimmy, you're going to choke when you realize what you missed out on.
Yes.
You are going to need an EpiPen.
Yes.
What was the line? Say it.
Was it you're going to need an EpiPen when you see me or something?
Yes, something like this.
Yeah. Like, again, I was like, okay, Jessica, like, it's good to be confident, but like, calm it down a little bit. Like, I think that's kind of cringy to be like, you're going to need an EpiPen when you see me.
See, at first, I was like, I kind of love this speech. Yeah. But then, again, after thinking about it, I was like, first of all, you're on a show called Love is Blind. Yeah. Once again, negating this whole premise of the show.
Yeah.
Which is supposed to be falling in love without seeing the other person's features. And I think that in my bias of someone that lives in the real world and sees people and knows that Jessica is very physically attractive.
Yeah.
I was thinking, yeah, like, she's so much hotter than him.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was thinking, okay, well, actually, it's supposed to be not about looks.
Yeah.
And now that she's been rejected, she's now using her looks to her advantage, which has always worked for her in the past.
Yes.
She came on the show to probably, because she's obviously gotten so much attention from men in the past, I'm sure. She came on the show to be like, you know what? I kind of want someone to fall for me for something other than looks.
Because she's probably one of those girls that, like, you're right. Like, she'll go out.
She walks into a room and
guys are like buying her drinks.
Absolutely.
They're like trying to, but it's the wrong guys. And she probably had so much of that. She's like, you know what? I want somebody that actually likes me for who I am, not for.
If we take it at face value.
Exactly. We took it at face value. Exactly. It's like me, you know? Like, I want someone to like me for who I am.
Why would anyone not like you for who you are, Daniel?
I know, right?
And you are good looking as well.
Exactly.
You're the full package.
I'm the TP.
Total package.
Yeah.
You are, Daniel.
Yeah.
Don't let anyone tell you otherwise.
Cheers.
Cheers.
You too, Rose.
Mm-hmm.
We're two TPs.
Two TPs.
But yeah, I don't know. Like that infamous
But everyone was saying Queen fucking slay.
At first I was, but then I'm also like at the same time I'm like, it's also really cringy to say that about yourself.
It's
like
cringy.
Even if I was Brad Pitt, okay? If I was fucking Brad Pitt, I'm still not gonna turn around and tell somebody like, oh, you're gonna need an EpiPen when you see me. And blah blah. Like, that's so fucking arrogant.
And imagine if the genders were reversed.
Yeah.
If a guy said that.
Yeah.
For example, if Trevor said that.
Or Clay
said that.
Yeah.
Or anyone that's been rejected say that. If a guy said that, we'd be like, that's fucked.
They'd be like, oh, that guy's a fucking idiot.
That's toxic.
Yeah.
But a girl said that, and I get that it's a little bit different with guys and girls, I understand.
Yeah.
But because a girl said that, we're like, oh yeah, like Queen, like she knows her worth. No, you don't know your worth because you basically begged him to choose you.
And then you're continually relying on your looks again.
Yeah, because the thing is, the best thing to do in that situation, if a guy doesn't choose you, is to just say, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm going to move on.
It would suck.
It would suck. And you can be emotional. I understand that. But the way that, like, again, we can talk about Trevor. But the way that Trevor handled it, I think it's perfect for both men and women. I think the best thing to do is be like, you know what, this is really sad. Yeah. But at the same time, I'm not going to beg you to stay. I'm just going to go. Yeah. I'm not going to have a tantrum. It was like I'm not going to tell you how hot I am.
Exactly. It was like AD with the wedding too, though. Like, she handled it very well. Like, she was like,
That's true.
You know what, Clay? She was never a bitch to him. She was never any of that.
No, but if she just ended it earlier, it would have been so much better.
I know. But she said, you know what? Clay was like, let's be together. I want to date you. She's like, no, like, you've wasted my time. And whether or not they're together in the reunion, guys, maybe I'm speaking out of turn. We'll find out.
No, based on face value.
Exactly. So either way. Anyway, so Jessica, Chelsea.
So Chelsea. Okay. So, oh my God, we haven't even got to Chelsea. See, this episode, I mean, this show.
This show, guys, this time around.
This season, this time around, they brought it.
Yes.
So anyway, that's how we feel about Jessica. Let us know what you think about this Jessica situation. I do think she wanted Instagram followers.
Yes.
She wanted to be famous.
She got them.
She wanted a nice, I'm sure she did. She wanted a nice life for her and her daughter.
Yep.
Which I'm sure she got. Good for you. Yeah. Girl, chase that bag. Okay?
Exactly.
But I don't think that she really thought, let's be honest, I don't know if she really thought she was going to find love there.
No.
Come on. You're a single mom. Like, what do you think is going to happen? On a show like this, I mean.
Yeah.
This is a superficial show.
That's true.
As much as it's an ironically superficial show.
Yeah.
As much as it pretends to not be. Anyways. So, now let's talk about Chelsea.
Chelsea. Our secure queen.
Our securely attached queen.
Yes. So, oh my God. But I mean, to be fair, I don't want to throw all the shade at Chelsea because you know what?
You know what? I have love for all the girls.
Yeah. But also Jimmy was doing a lot with Chelsea like that. Like, I can see why, like she was very, very needy and she was very insecure. But also, Jimmy did not help that in any way, shape, or form.
No, he did not.
Like there was a really iconic conversation which people have like posted on TikTok and stuff where Jimmy goes like, "What do you need? Tell me what you need. I'll do it for you. Like I'm willing." Blah blah blah. And then he's like, "Do you want me to stop hanging out with my friends? Like, what do you want?" She's like, "Yeah, I want you to stop hanging out with those friends or whatever." And he goes, "I'm not willing to do that." Like he's just like, just be like, you know what I mean? Like it's.
But that's unreasonable.
Yeah.
To say I want you to stop hanging out with
Of
your friends,
course.
which a week ago I green lighted
Yeah.
and told you I was okay, and I met up with them and
Yes.
acted as though it was completely fine. The thing is,
Then you find out later though that you
I-
had fucked one of your friends.
but she knew that when they met, didn't she?
I don't think she did. I mean, I don't know, guys. I'm a little bit drunk
We don't-
now. So
Okay, no. Here's the thing. I empathize with Chelsea, okay? But the thing is, first of all, if guys, another PSA.
yeah,
If you're an insecure person, do not go on reality television
yeah.
because I don't understand.
But also, I feel so bad for her because she's been dragged through the mud because of this Megan Fox
Yeah,
thing.
but again,
And
why
na-
would you say that?
I know, and now like imagine if you're her.
I
You're going
know.
on Instagram now, and I'm not kidding you guys. When I'm talking, there is so many memes on TikTok now about her and Megan Fox. Like literally,
This is what I mean.
It's like there's probably millions. This poor girl.
I
if you
know.
weren't insecure now or before, I mean, you have been fucking.
This is why I
drugged
would never
through the
go on
mud.
reality TV
Yeah.
because even though I feel like I'm pretty confident and pretty secure,
Yeah.
I know I couldn't handle that.
You do one wrong thing, Rose. You become a fucking caricature.
Exactly. And imagine if you're already insecure.
Yeah. Or you're insecure about a certain feature. You know what I mean? You're like, oh my God,
Yeah.
I'm really insecure about like, oh, I have kind of like man boobs or something, right? And then there's like a scene of me doing something in like a white t-shirt.
And it looks like you have man boobs.
Exactly. And all of a
Yeah.
sudden it explodes on the internet. And everyone's like, who wants a piece of these titties? Or I don't know. Like
Guys,
fucking like.
I'm telling you, reality TV is not for the faint-hearted.
No, it's
And
not.
definitely not for Chelsea.
No.
What was she thinking?
I know. Because she seems like she's a really sweet girl.
She seemed sweet, and I feel like if she had a little therapy and some
Yeah.
help, and she had like some, normal, secure relationships, it could be good.
But even one of the memes that was also horrendous, I sent it to you on TikTok, is there's a scene where she's like running to Jimmy at the very beginning when they see each other. And she kind of like runs like a T-Rex. Like she does this thing and she was like,
And she also I think because she commented on
yes.
it.
She is not doing herself any favors. I'm like,
Exactly.
Chelsea, shut the fuck up. You do not look like Megan Fox and you do not run like a T-Rex.
Yes!
Stop putting this in people's heads.
So because she said that, someone
Yes.
made a meme.
All of these memes are your own fault, Chelsea. I'm sorry, but like comparing yourself to Megan
Yes.
Fox, you did it to yourself. Saying you ran like a T-Rex, and now people are doing like Jurassic Park sounds with her running to Jimmy.
slow motion.
But it's so funny because even the beginning of it, guys, and I shouldn't laugh because
Because that's like
mean.
the gate opens,
As the
like
gate opens,
Jurassic Park.
she opens her mouth like this, kind of like, and they do this sound. Like this Jurassic Park sound, and I'm like, oh my God, it's so good, but so
It's
bad at the same time.
awful.
Oh,
I know. So I saw that and I was like, "Oh God, I feel bad with this one because it's bad.
it's borderline bullying.
It is bullying. It's
Yes.
mean. And
But
I
like,
don't.
why did you say that you
I
ran like a
know.
T-Rex?
Here's the thing, guys. The internet is not a good place.
The internet is not your friend.
It's not your friend. So please, I don't think anyone should go on reality TV, especially if you have insecurity issues.
Yeah.
And boy, oh boy,
Yeah.
does she have insecurity issues.
Yeah.
First of all, why mention Megan Fox?
I
I cannot understand. Again, there might be a certain tiny bit of resemblance.
yeah. But you're setting yourself up for failure.
But it's like saying, it's almost like me saying I look like, name an Asian actress.
like, I mean,
The girl from Crazy Rich Asians, okay?
Yeah.
Because we're Asian and we have similar
Yeah, yeah.
features. Like, you might as well say that.
yeah.
Because I might as well say I look like fucking a girl from Social Network, the one that's married to the fucking guy that plays Facebook guy.
Oh,
What's her fucking name?
What's her name?
Brenda Song.
Yeah.
She's like some Asian actress. I might as well say I look like Brenda Song. I don't look anything like Brenda Song.
Yeah.
But because we're both Asian, we may have certain features that may look
Similarity. Yeah.
somewhat
Yeah,
similar.
yeah.
And someone might be like, oh yeah, you kind of, and because I've had people saying because they're racist or saying that, oh, you look like you know, some kind of Asian actress who I don't look at all like.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, okay.
But like, you wouldn't go on a reality TV show
I would
and say
never
that.
say, especially if they were attractive.
Yeah.
I would never say, oh, you know, some people say I look like this person.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you say that?
Exactly, especially when you don't. Well, you kind of do, but you don't.
No,
and then
you don't at all. I'm sorry, you don't.
yes, and then on top of that, you're really insecure, and so yeah, it's just a bad combo. It's a bad combo.
And then, well, some people are saying that she ran. I don't know if this is the truth, but some people are saying she ran to Jimmy so that he wouldn't like be able to get a close look at her right away, kind of thing. I don't know if that's true, but immediately they hugged, and she wasn't like letting him see her.
Oh, but I mean,
She's insecure about it.
yeah.
I know. And she was, oh, God, it's just sad.
Yeah.
The thing is, she is a perfectly good-looking girl.
She is.
Like, there's nothing wrong with you, girl.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't go on reality TV.
Don't. You just
In the
stay
real
away from
li-
that place.
In real world, you would be fine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Let me tell you. You would be fine.
Yeah. And then.
And she has pretty features.
Yeah.
She is a pretty girl. Like,
Yeah.
she's fine.
No,
She
totally.
just doesn't look like Megan Fox.
I know. That's the thing. At the end of the day. And then like Jimmy,
and like
though.
Jimmy is not that good looking
I know.
anyway. So like, you're fine.
But he's also, not only is he not that good looking, his personality is like
Toast.
it's like there was nothing about Jimmy that I was like, oh my God, this is a really great guy. That like, he's a bit of a dick, to be honest. Like,
Did you think he was a dick?
kind of. Yeah. It
I
was
think
kind
he
of
was
like,
just like, I don't think he was a dick. I think he was just like very bland, stereotypical dude with no personality.
yeah.
Like, I don't think he was
Yet seems
Dick.
to get all these women.
only in the pods.
Well, also apparently in the girls that he's friends with, he's slept with a few of them, and like they're hanging around
Maybe he has a personality that we don't see on camera.
potentially. But do you know what I mean? Like he's like,
Right, he has all these girlfriends.
yes,
Let's talk about the girlfriends for a second.
Yeah.
The friends that are girls.
that he's fucked.
So, I mean, I know it's different for like gay guys. Okay. But like, well, okay, well, let me ask you. So like, let's say you met a guy, right? And all his friends are other gay guys. How do you feel? Is there any sort of, you know, hesitancy?
I guess it depends. Like if all of his friends are like super hot
Oh,
and
interesting.
like very like
So if they're a threat to you,
yes, then I'm a bit like, I mean, I don't know. I would hope
would
I'd
it
be,
bother you?
I don't think it would necessarily bother me. Like maybe if they went by himself on a camping trip with one of his friends, that was like,
Right. Interesting.
but I don't know. Again, I've never been in that
I guess
situation.
I think it's a little different. I guess because like with gay guys, it's the dynamic might be a bit different.
well, I mean, half of us have already slept with each other anyways, so
Oh God. But like,
call us spade a
okay,
spade.
But imagine, and we don't. Because the thing is, I thought it was weird, and I don't know if they did this for the cameras or whatever. That because everyone else is like meeting your friends or whatever, and his friends were all girls.
Yeah.
Like he didn't have a bro in sight. To me, that's a red flag.
Yeah, that's
To me, a red flag is when a guy does not have guy friends.
because I mean, I have a few guy friends, but not very many.
Yeah.
Most of my friends are women, but because I'm gay,
Yeah.
so
Which
it's like
I
a
think
little different. But
it
like,
is a bit different.
if a straight guy, all of his friends are girls,
I
and
think that's a bit of a red flag.
Some of them he's fucked.
That's a major red flag.
I'm just like,
That thing is when first they introduced the girlfriends, and I was kind of like, okay, maybe it's like a yellow flag,
yeah,
you know, like, you know, whatever. And then when they mentioned that he slept with one of them, I was like, okay, red flag,
Yes.
for sure.
yeah, because you know that maybe they're lingering around for a bit more, or something's going on, or he's lingering around for a bit more. Or,
And I hate doing this. Like, I don't like to say like men and women can't be friends, even though I don't really believe they can be.
I know, like,
No, I think they can be friends, but I think there's definitely, it's trickier.
yeah,
And I think it's harder. And I think, again, if all your friends are, if you're a straight person and all your friends are the opposite sex, it's not always a negative thing, but it is something to be weary of.
yes. So I have to say,
I'm going to get another can.
God damn.
Thirsty? You haven't had a drink?
I haven't drank in a while, guys. The beast has been unleashed.
Oh, is it so fun, though?
Oh my God, I get that feeling, and I'm just like,
That fuzzy sensation.
this is a problem, Rose. This is a problem, okay? This is the alcoholics of
But
us
it's
speaking.
so much fun.
It actually, I'm like feeling like happy and
I
like
know.
euphoric.
It's because we're
as,
drinking
like,
together. It's been a while. Power. It be bad luck? Okay.
You never heard that before? I'll just
I haven't heard it before, but I haven't cheers with an empty glass before. Okay. Cheers.
It is. Oh, God. Why is drinking so good?
It's so fun. It's a drug.
It's like, it's funny because like they say alcohol is like an antidepressant or whatever.
Or it is a depressant,
depressant,
not
but
an antidepressant, but
I'm
it
always
feels
like-
like an antidepressant, doesn't it?
I'm like, it feels so fun. I don't get it.
It's interesting. Alcohol is interesting because I think they say it in terms of your bodily functions as a depressant.
Right. Okay.
And I don't exactly know what that means, but in
Yeah.
terms of like, it's basically like, yeah, your fight or I don't know what,
Yeah.
whatever. But in terms of how we feel like
Fucking
happy.
good. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Back to the podcast.
Back to the podcast. So we're both alcoholics.
No.
Welcome to the club.
That's getting cut out. All of that.
No, you got to leave some of that in.
Mm.
So.
Yeah, I was just saying Chelsea, Jimmy, the friend thing.
Oh, yeah. It's a bit weird.
Yeah.
So I understand Chelsea's hesitancy.
And also, let's you hit the nail on the head saying about the insecurity. Imagine putting somebody in that's already insecure in a relationship with a guy that's friends with all girls, and one of them that he's fucked. Like that's
Recipe
like,
made for disaster.
That's a recipe that's just like not a good situation. It's like fuel to the fire.
Oh my
it's like
God.
let's put an insecure relation or an insecure person in a relationship with somebody that's friends with all of their exes and is fucking half of them.
And
like.
but also she apparently is good friends because when she first met Cheers, the thing is when they like first had their like friend meetup, it
Yeah.
seemed all good.
Yeah.
Because she said, you know what, I'm also very good friends with one of my exes.
Yes. That got brought up later.
So I have nothing to say. So she said that.
Yeah.
So it's like
And then later it became a problem.
the thing is, and also at that moment, if it was a problem at that moment, she should have addressed it as a problem at that moment.
Yes.
And again, I'm talking if you were a logical person, which
Yeah.
obviously none of us are in a relationship. So like
This is
it's
true.
fair. But like at that moment, you should have mentioned it. But later on, in like a moment of desperation, in a moment of insecurity, in a moment of drunkenness, she brings it up as fuel.
Yeah.
When he didn't do anything wrong in that fight. Let's talk about that fight.
Yeah.
When he was out for an hour, having one drink,
And she lost it.
she lost her absolute marbles.
She was like, I don't want to be with someone that always wants to be out, blah, blah. He's like, I'm not always out. I was out for an hour.
and she's like, I don't want to be with that person that wants to go out.
Yeah. God, I mean, that for me is the deal breaker. I'm
Oh.
like, okay, done.
Oh, deal breaker would have happened. Well,
And
we have to talk about when they first met in the honeymoon time
Yeah.
in like Dominican whatever,
Yeah.
and they all met, all the couples met,
Right.
and then Jimmy said something like, "Oh, what did he say about AD?"
he was like, wow, she's
Oh,
got like,
she's stacked.
she's stacked. That's what he said. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I would lose my shit.
Yeah.
I blame Chelsea for how she reacted.
Yeah.
But I understand. I would also be upset.
But I think this is the thing. If you're in a relationship with somebody else, right? Like, depending on where you're at in your relationship and how comfortable you are, whatever, like, there's nothing wrong with being like, hey, that other person's like good looking, whatever. But the way he said it, the way he's like, yeah, she's fucking stacked. And like, then he went over and talked to her for a while.
Well, he said she's stacked. And then Chelsea, because she was feeling weird and awkward,
Yeah.
which I can empathize with.
Yeah.
And we never always react in the way that we would want to react. So she reacted being like, oh yeah, you are stacked, because she wanted to be like, you know, the cool
Fun.
girl,
Yeah.
the fun girl, the one
Yeah.
that's not insecure. But really she felt insecure. But
Yeah.
I can empathize with that. So then AD is like feeling awkward. She's like, oh.
Mm.
And then later she's like, oh my God, like that was awkward.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Jimmy, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah.
What? Say that to your guy friends. Say that to anyone
course.
else but your fiance.
Exactly. This is the thing. There's a time and a place. Like, I'm not going to tell my boyfriend if I see some other hot guy, I'm like, oh my God, that guy's an absolute fucking god.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, my
Exactly.
boyfriend's gonna be like, hey, what the fuck? But if I'm with like you,
Yeah.
I'd be like, Rose, look at that man. He's
Exactly.
a fucking smoke
Like,
show.
it
Like,
doesn't-
it's different.
The thing is, I understand, like, even if you're engaged or even if you're married, you can appreciate.
You can look but not touch.
Yeah, you can
Right? Like,
you can appreciate a good-looking person.
Yeah.
And you can even like say, "Oh, someone like looks really fucking hot." Like,
Yeah.
of course. But like, would I ever say to someone I'm dating, like, let alone engaged to,
yeah.
"Oh, that guy, fuck, he's a fucking smoke show."
Yeah, fuck. Look at that ass.
Are you kidding me?
Holy
Right?
shit. You could bounce a penny off
So
that
like,
fucking
a part
ass.
of me does not blame Chelsea for her reaction.
But like, how perfect for the show was it that Chelsea ended up with Jimmy that was like that, an insecure person with somebody
Perfect
that
for the show, yes.
Yeah,
Not good for Chelsea's
no,
mental health.
Not good for any of that situation. But the fact that she ended up with a guy that's like,
Well-
fucking this girl's stacked,
Well,
hanging out with my
she could have
friends.
chosen Trevor, which
I know.
we can get to.
Yeah.
The rumors behind Trevor.
Mm.
But I really like Trevor. Aside from the rumors, we don't know if they're true.
He seemed like such a nice guy.
God, I really like Trevor. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, I would date a Trevor.
Yeah,
But we don't know if he was putting up a front.
yeah,
But either way, based on face value, I really like Trevor.
yeah,
And she chose Jimmy. She
Yeah.
chose the guy that was unsure.
yeah.
And this is what you get when you choose a guy that's unsure.
Yeah. And you chose the guy that really, the only thing that seemed to sway his decision was the fact that you said you look like Megan Fox.
And you chose the guy because you knew the guy was also talking to a hot girl.
Yes. So
you chose a guy based on your insecurities, not based on who he was.
because again, they could be edits, but you had a better connection with Trevor.
Mm-hmm.
And so what's the drama with Trevor? I can't remember.
The drama is that people are saying that he was already in a relationship.
Right. Before he went on the show.
When
right?
and he went on a show to basically get clout or whatever.
Yeah.
And his ex-girlfriend is saying, I can't remember exactly the drama because I haven't really paid attention. I learned that he's like not what he seems. And I think they're going to touch on it on the reunion.
Well, they
So-
probably won't touch on it well.
Oh, that's true.
They'll probably be like, oh,
That's true.
Trevor, there was some speculation that you were XYZ. And he'll be like, yeah, it was just speculation. Great, moving on. That's what they'll do. Mark my words, Rose. We laugh and we joke, but that is exactly what they'll fucking do.
Daniel, let's see what happens.
Cheers to that.
Cheers to that.
Mhm.
So, yeah, that part when Jimmy was like, "Oh, she's stacked," I would lose my shit.
Yeah.
And I can't say that I wouldn't react the way that she also reacted.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, at that moment, we always think that we're gonna react in a certain
But also,
way.
you're in a social situation. There's other people around.
Exactly.
You don't want to
We're
seem like
not-
that girl.
Exactly.
You know, like, fuck you, blah, blah, blah.
So
It's
I
like,
almost feel like Chelsea reacted in a lot of ways that a lot of girls will react.
yeah.
Like, oh, of course she's hot.
Yeah.
We're gonna try to act confident. Like,
Yeah.
of course she's hot. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And then later on, she got upset, which again I kind of understand.
Yeah.
Like, now would I hope that I wouldn't handle it in the way that Chelsea did, like crying and whining and stuff like that?
Yeah.
I hope I wouldn't handle it like that. I would hope that I would be like, you know what, that's fucked up.
But it's hard to say.
It's hard
in
to
that
say.
situation, you know?
I don't think I would, just because I know that, because Chelsea, I think she's an anxious attachment style.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
As in, if you guys don't know about attachment styles, read up on it. But basically, anxious attachment is when you're always worried and constantly scared that your partner's going to leave you or like
Yeah.
he's going to cheat on you or all this stuff. You're always worried about your relationship. You always want to know where your partner is. Basically, what you would normally classify as clingy, which
So
we'll
the
get
opposite
to.
of us.
Which is the opposite of us,
Yeah.
which we are avoidant attachment. So I think I would probably shut out.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I would be pissed. I wouldn't mention it.
Yeah.
I would probably just be like, fuck this guy. I'd
Yeah.
probably end it before.
Yeah. This is so true.
You know what I mean? Like,
this is like our therapy session,
yeah,
Rose. God
that's the thing.
damn.
I would never like, I don't think I would confront it in that way.
Yeah.
I wouldn't cry like that in front of him.
Yeah.
And I would just be like, fuck this guy. Fuck you. I'm going to leave this party early.
Yeah.
And just, you know, that's probably what I would do. It's not healthy.
No. and then if as you're leaving, if he's like, "Hey, Rose, is everything okay?" You'd be like, "Everything is fine," and then you would leave.
It's fine. Have a good night.
Yeah, I love. Oh, that's my favorite. It's fine.
Anyways, so that's the difference between anxious and avoidant. Both not healthy
No.
relationship styles.
Definitely not.
Anyways.
Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, Jimmy, Chelsea, they didn't even make it to the altar. I think at least
actually-
Jimmy did something good there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But let's talk about that for a second.
Yeah.
So Chelsea, so throughout this entire relationship,
Yeah.
okay, she is, some of those fights, like the one where he went for a drink for an hour.
Yeah, and she lost her shit.
She's just losing her shit over absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
And it's like, girl.
Or like when he was like, he came down from work and her friends were there and he was really social with her friends. And then she goes, "You didn't kiss me today. You didn't tell me you loved me today." He's like, I was working all day.
Yeah.
I came down and was social with your friends. I kissed you in the morning. Well, that was only one time. It's like, okay, like.
Here's the thing about these situations, my friends. If you want a guy to kiss you more or like love you more, the way to do it is not that.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, the way to do it isn't, "Oh my God,
But
why don't you love me more?"
But definitely this is the thing too, is like, I don't know about you guys, but like from my perspective, it's like, if I'm having to tell somebody that,
Yes.
it feels forced, and I don't want you to kiss me because you
That's
feel
another
forced.
thing.
I want you to kiss me because you fucking want to kiss me, not because I'm
Exactly.
like, "Oh, you're not kissing me enough. Like, kiss me now." And then even if they kiss me, I'm gonna be like, "Okay, well,
Yes.
you're just doing it because I said it."
Exactly. You hit the nail on the head as well. It's like, I'm not going to tell you, kiss me more.
Exactly.
I mean, in some situations, I'm sure you could say, like, this thing makes me feel better, whatever.
Yeah.
In some healthy dynamics,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
understand. But it's like, if
But
you
not in
really,
that situation. Not when
Not
you're
in
like
that
fucking
situation.
crying and you're like, "You've only kissed me once
Exactly.
today. You didn't kiss me
Yeah.
4 times like I wanted you to." "Okay, well, I'll kiss you right now then." It's not the same. You have to want to
Oh my
do
gosh,
it.
you're so whiny.
I know. I couldn't.
If you feel, the thing is, again, if you feel like in general, right? Again, I understand. If normally your relationship is a healthy relationship, you have a normally healthy dynamic, and there's a day that's one off, or like you want to set a certain boundary, you
Yeah.
want to set certain expectations, and you say, "This is what I expect." I understand that you can set certain expectations. You can say, "You know what, I want you to, like, I feel valued if you do this," whatever. I
Right.
get that.
Yeah.
But when you whine and cry and you say like, "Oh my God, you just didn't do this," like, "Oh my God."
Yeah.
And then he starts kissing. That's the thing. It's like,
It's ungenuine. It's like right now if I was really sad,
Exactly.
I'm like, "I just want a hug. Why aren't you giving me a hug?" It's like, "Okay, well, I'll give you a hug."
yeah.
And then they give you a hug, you're like, "Well,"
Exactly.
like, it's stupid.
So this girl, I don't hate her. I think she's a nice person.
Yeah.
She seems nice. She has good friends, it seems
She
like.
does have good friends. Yeah.
Which is a good sign.
Yeah.
It's like you need just like you need better self-worth. Like
Yeah.
I don't understand. I don't know. Like you need like, how old is she?
30s.
30s.
I think she's in her 30s.
Is she?
Let's pull up the chart. I want to say she's 31.
Girl, you're
Oh.
31. She is acting like a 22-year-old.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, because like that behavior.
Yeah.
I can't.
I know.
I can't. Chelsea, get your shit together.
Yeah. Chelsea, we love you, but get your shit together.
Get your shit together. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Crazy.
And like, again, she's attractive. Like, she's not, like, it's not about looks.
No. Love is blind, Rose. Love is blind.
Apparently not for a lot of people.
I know. So.
God damn. Is that it? Wait, there has to be something we missed.
I feel like we got it. We got it all. We hit the.
So wait, we have to talk about Jimmy and Chelsea's final dinner.
Oh, yeah. The
together.
final dinner. Right. The final dinner. Right.
The Last Supper.
It was the Last Supper.
Where basically Jimmy also, he's so strange.
He is. He's an odd.
He's an odd character. Basically, he kind of acted as though he was like really into it
Yes.
for the entire time.
Even for the conversation at the Last Supper.
Even
Because he was like, I'm feeling like really like this way connected. And he's like, but I don't know where you're at. And then all of a sudden she is like umming and ahhing or whatever, something. And then he goes like,
well, actually, I don't think we should go to the altar.
yeah. And I was like,
I know. I was like, where did that come
I was
from?
like, what the fuck is going on?
Because
right
you
now?
basically made it seem like you were really into this.
The whole conversation, I was like,
Yeah.
oh, he's gonna tell her how into it he is.
Yeah.
And then it was like he wasn't.
He wasn't into it. Exactly. I don't understand.
It was so weird.
I'm spilling things now. I be drunk and
We need to finish this episode.
we dar. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, even on that whole conversation, you're like,
Yeah, because I was like, oh my God, this guy's like kind of into it.
and then all of a sudden he was just like, yep, nope. After that comment with me going out and my friends, I don't want to date
But
you
it's
anymore.
like, then why did you say this whole entire thing? Are you ready for the altar? Are you ready to marry me?
Yeah.
Why did you milk it for this entire time?
I can tell you, there's one word for it: clout.
You think so?
Yeah, 100%. Stay on the
Honey,
show
Jimmy,
longer.
Jimmy, what does Jimmy do for a living?
He's a sales exec or something.
Jimmy?
Software sales. I
Jimmy,
think.
let me tell you, keep your day job because nobody thinks that you can be a social media influencer.
Sorry, Jimmy.
I'm sorry, Jimmy. You got no. I'm sorry, Jimmy. You are the most bland, basic ass white Southern man I've ever seen in my life. You kind of look like a thumb.
So many people said that he looks like a thumb.
Oh my god.
I'm like, oh, that's so mean, but
I know.
but it's true.
But it's like, okay, listen, no, you don't look that bad. Here's the thing. Again, if you meet the right, I think if he meets a really good girl,
Yeah.
I think he would treat her really well, and I think he could be a good like person
Boyfriend?
and like boyfriend,
Yeah.
husband, whatever. I don't think he's a bad person.
Yeah.
I just don't think like it's like if you're trying to get fame, you might get it for like the first year, but you don't have the charisma, the pull,
Yeah.
I don't think you have the
Je ne sais quoi.
the je ne sais quoi. I don't think you have to work. I don't know if you have the work ethic. I don't think you have the whatever it takes to be like an influencer.
Yeah.
So I think he should just
Don't quit his day job.
Don't quit your day job.
Find a nice Southern belle. Get
Exactly.
married. Have your children.
He's got no charisma.
I know.
So out of the cast, who do you think? Okay, well, first of all, do we think Amy and Johnny will last?
I think they will.
You think they're going to get over the condom? You think they're going to start using a condom?
They're going to have kids. So, do you not think they're going to last, Rose?
I don't know. Love is blind. I don't fucking know.
Love is blind. And
It's hard because it's like, it's a lottery, you know?
it's a lottery. We're just pulling numbers. So,
And how old are they? They're kind of younger.
they were the younger ones on the crew, for
which
sure.
is a little bit,
like 26, 27, I think.
Okay, they're not that young, but they're youngish.
Yeah. I kind of liked that everyone was kind of like in their 30s. Like a lot of people were in their 30s.
I think that's how it should be.
I was like, okay, cool.
Because I can't
that's
take
like
it seriously when you're like 22.
I know when they're like there was that ultimatum or something show,
Yeah.
and like someone was like 21 and her boyfriend was like 24, and she's like, I'm giving him the ultimatum. We've been dating for a year,
I know,
and
I
he
can't
hasn't
take it
proposed.
seriously.
I was like, bitch, you're 21 years old. Like,
Yeah.
you don't need to get married right now. Like, you have your like whole 20s. Like, just chill.
So they haven't had Ultimatum season 2. Do you think it didn't go very well?
No, I did watch another ultimatum.
Was it the queer version?
Yes, there was the women.
Was it good?
It was actually so good.
Should I watch it?
I think you should.
Oh
It was.
my
I
God.
quite enjoyed it. I was like, I don't know. It's just like trash TV, but
I mean, all of this is
all
trash
of it, yeah,
TV.
yeah. But it was still like
We're
it was
really
kind of-
dissecting trash television
Yeah,
here.
there might have been another ultimatum. I think maybe there was. I just haven't watched it. So
Okay.
yeah.
So wait. So Johnny and Amy, I do hope they last. They were cute, and I do think other than this whole like Johnny condom situation,
Yeah.
he seemed like a nice guy.
He seemed like a really they seemed like a really cute, sweet
Yes.
couple. Like I was like, okay, cool.
And he was really into her. She's gorgeous, and he was
Yeah.
into the gorgeousness.
Yeah.
She seems very sweet. They both
Yeah.
come from loving families, which is a good
Yes.
sign.
Yes.
Not broken families, which usually it causes trauma and
Yeah.
problems, which isn't anybody's fault, but you know,
Yeah.
because they come from these
It adds a
loving
layer.
families, it adds a layer.
Yeah.
And so hopefully that works out. Yeah, but only 2 made it to the altar.
And only one
This
got
time.
married.
But then, you know what? Some people were saying, because I saw this like thing with one of the contestants from like the first season,
Yeah.
which like nobody remembered because she was like it was like one of those couples that nobody remembers.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, I didn't realize that you could just like choose not to be going to the altar. Because I remember in the first few seasons, like you kind of had to go to the altar.
Like everybody seemed to go to the altar.
Yeah. And now it's like you can just drop out whenever.
Yeah, it's weird.
It seems weird. I feel like maybe they've changed their, rules because they're like,
or they've relaxed a little bit.
yeah, they've relaxed the rules a lot. Because
Yeah.
I think in the beginning they barely talked about race.
Yeah.
They barely talked about appearance.
Yeah.
Like I don't think they were allowed really to talk about
Well,
it. And I
interesting-
don't think they should be allowed.
No, they shouldn't. And also, it's interesting because you're right. Because in the early seasons, I feel like 5 or 6 couples went to the altar. We were like,
Daniel,
okay,
all of the engaged couples went to the altar.
yeah.
So that shows that
Marshall and that girl didn't go to the altar though.
no, as in the very first
Yeah.
couple seasons,
Right.
all the engaged couples had to go to the altar. At least
Right.
that's the that's we didn't realize that you could just like choose not to
True.
until and then they started bending the rules a little bit.
Yeah.
But now I feel like either they should all have to go to the altar, or they should not be able to talk about their looks.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
I agree.
How is it Love is Blind? You know, all of you, and also
We know love is not blind.
Exactly.
We know, like,
it's such
I'm
bullshit.
sorry, it's the stupidest social, and I love how they keep playing like it's a social experiment. I'm like, fuck off, guys. It's not
It's
a
more
social.
of a social media
It's
growth
a reality
strategy.
It's a reality, exactly. It's a reality TV show, social media growth strategy. Get some clout. Love is not blind, guys.
Mm-hmm. And on that positive note, I can't talk. I'm drunk.
We're ending the episode, guys. We hope you enjoyed this week's episode. Watch Love is Blind if you haven't.
Be drunken.
It be cheesy as hell. We be a little bit tipsy.
We eat.
And if you guys haven't already, check out our Patreon. It's patreon.com/the SaVeg podcast. We have exclusive content on there. Membership starts as low as $3 a month, guys. So check it out. Also, if you're watching this video on YouTube, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Show us some love in the comment section and below.
Yeah.
You know, love is blind. So just, love is blind down there.
While we are feeling blind.
We're feeling a little blind right now. And also, obviously, whatever podcast platform you're listening to us on, hit that follow. And that way you'll get updated as soon as we release new episodes. It will be there for you to enjoy.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thumbs up this video.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah.
That's
it.
Thank you so much for listening, you guys. And we'll talk
Catch
to you guys
next week.
Bye.
Bye.